Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is the only podcast that's available online. Thank you for listening, although you don't have a choice. It's a mandatory podcast. Today is a mandatory podcast for all Dojans. If you're listening right now, thank you for fulfilling your service. And we've got Coley, Big T, Billy, myself, Mad Dog on the ones and twos. Are you on the ones and twos? You're on the ones at least.
I am on the ones and twos today.
You're on the ones. I think the two is currently unoccupied. That's where Avery would normally be. But good news for Avery. I think Avery's getting tickets to that Rangers Capitals game with me on the 29th. You know who's going to give them to us? Game time. That's right. Squad's going to the Rangers Caps game. You guys want to go?
Yeah.
Bill, are you a Rangers fan?
Yeah.
I don't think you
Well,
are.
I was never really a hockey fan. I've just gotten into it. I guess I'm a Rangers fan.
I mean, you should be supporting the Capitals and Ovechkin, given his love for Putin.
When did I become a Putin sympathizer?
Big T, you want to come?
I'd love to go, yeah.
Okay, hockey Mad Dog.
Sure.
Coley, do you want to come to the game?
Heavens no.
Okay, Coley will
But that
not.
doesn't mean I love game time any less.
You just don't respect the Mecca. That's the problem.
I definitely don't.
So we'll get Glennie to come to. That should be fun. Game Time is the official and exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. They're the only ticketing company that Barstool Sports uses to buy tickets. They have sweet tickets too. It's a very easy to use app. You've probably seen their commercials recently. I saw it on TV and I was like, oh, those are our guys. Their boys are on TV. Turns out they're doing a little thing called marketing. That didn't occur to me. I just thought that they liked us, and so they were giving us tickets. But the app is very, very easy to use. You guys will love it. It's the best place to get last-minute tickets. Honestly, it's got the cheapest tickets, the best deals, most availability, and the process only takes 2 taps and 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, we call that a patino in the biz. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone, no printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle, enjoy the moment, use Game Time. We're using Game Time right now. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And I'm gonna do you guys a favor since you're listening to the show, even though it was mandatory, for showing up. I am going to give you credit. I'm going to give you your own participation trophy for listening to this show. I'm going to put $20 in your wallet. I'm going to give you $20 off a ticket. All you have to do is download the Game Time app, go to the account tab to create a login, and where it says the redeem code, type in macro, all uppercase macro, $20 off your first purchase. Some terms apply, but you should get $20 off that purchase. Just download the Game Time app and then go to the account tab to create your login. Redeem code macro for $20 off your first purchase. Boom. There you go. $20 off on us. You're welcome. Enjoy yourselves. We're going to be at that Rangers game at the Mecca. Can't wait. Tom Wilson's going to destroy the Mecca again. That's just what's going to happen with Game Time. So welcome back to Macrodosing. It is Tuesday. It is April 19th. That means that you already did your taxes yesterday. Congratulations. Billy, did you do your taxes?
Yep.
Big T?
Yeah,
It's theft.
So
it is.
is it technically like if I owe taxes in a specific state, if I never go to that state, do I have to pay them? Like parking tickets?
For legal purposes, yes. But I would like to see you not pay it. Are you thinking about just stiffing West Virginia?
Yeah, I'm never going back to West Virginia.
West Virginia is probably like the most commonly used state when it comes to this exact loophole that Billy's talking about. Like, when am I going to be back in West Virginia again? I won $100,000 on ponies. Do I really have to pay all the taxes on that? I would say yeah, you probably do.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Also,
but
Billy, if you don't, you're literally taking money out of coal miners' mouths.
I know. I'm gonna pay it, but just like
They eat the money
hypothetically.
down there.
Yeah, it's not like you're taking money out of like Greenwich, Connecticut.
Right.
You're taking
Yeah,
money
no,
out
I'm
of
definitely gonna pay it. I have paid those taxes.
coal.
but
Keeps the lights on, Billy.
I know. Clean coal.
Is that what we're talking about? Clean coal?
Clean coal. I don't know. There's that whole movement for clean coal. Remember that? When it was like, this is clean coal. It's new coal burning technologies, which is cleaner than how we used to burn coal.
I think it's just a great name.
Yeah.
You can just call anything clean.
Yeah, but I owe a bunch of I have a like ticket for jumping a subway turnstile in a city, and I've never paid it. so I'm probably wanted in that city. I'm not gonna say which
I'm
one.
gonna guess New York City.
No.
Let's take a
It was
shot
a
in the
Metro.
dark.
They don't give you a ticket for that here. Are you kidding?
That's
it was
true,
a
they don't.
Metro.
Well, me and Big T are the only ones that ever actually pay for subway
Correct.
rides.
I pay for my subway ride.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, but that was
No, sure doesn't.
it was in a country that's not America, and
Oh.
I'm never going back to that country again.
Italy.
Nope.
Trying to think of what other countries Billy's been in.
Spain.
Nope. Just we don't have to do the guessing game.
The way you
You-
said Metro makes me think it's England.
Ukraine.
Closer.
They need the money more than anyone, Billy.
I know. No, it's not that. But
Yeah, it's the underground. It's clearly the underground. Then Billy is wanted in England. We'll get around
I
to that.
might
actually.
be I might be an international
fugitive.
fugitive.
Yeah, Interpol's chasing you down right
Yeah.
now.
Come get me.
We got a lot to talk about today. Before we get into the show, I do feel like we should clean up a little bit from last week's nanodosing. Billy and Big T had some words. Things were said on this show. I personally don't like taking sides in this, but I do want to say, Big T, I don't think that you should speak to Billy in those ways. And Billy, I think that you were a little on edge after getting thoroughly emasculated on last Monday's show, and so you were really looking for blood. But I'd like you two to hash it out, figure out what the issue is, so we can move on because you're both valued members of the show. I did want to point out that the Big T issued an ultimatum, which was a crazy ultimatum.
Did that even air?
No.
We
Okay.
cut that out.
It
Oh,
didn't, yeah.
I didn't know that we cut it out. But at the end of the show, Big T said, if Billy's here on Monday, I'm not. And it was just a wild ultimatum. Like, usually you have to have some significant leverage to pull an ultimatum. Now, you are a valued member of the show. But
Well, it wasn't meant as leverage.
Look,
Like I was prepared to leave.
just a matter of, but
Look.
yet you didn't.
Big.
I mean,
Look,
I
look,
didn't really have a
curious.
choice.
Look, this is what it is. Big T, I thought we had a great relationship. I don't know what happened after the whole Chick-fil-A cannibalism incident. Things went off the rail. I just would like to say, like, I have no problem with you. It's just, I don't like when we're having a debate, a discussion like we do on this show, and you go ad hominem. That's because I was thinking what set me off in that situation. And it was that we were debating. In the moment, I was so wound up, I couldn't really understand what set me off. But it was that we were debating baseball instead of actually talking about how, baseball takes this much
Athleticism?
not athleticism. We're talking about endurance.
Endurance.
This much this. And then I think I don't know if it was specific, but you then made an ad hominem attack on me being an idiot or something when making a common point about baseball. That's what I didn't.
I
yeah.
understand. I apologize for what I said. I didn't speak to you any differently than I would have like anyone else that I was having an argument like that with. I was like, oh, this guy, like that's ridiculous. But I apologize for what I said. I forgive you for what you said to me. I don't care. The person we should be mad at is him.
I know.
He's the one
Me?
that
Yeah.
started the whole thing on purpose.
You're
I
a
did not
war
s-
prophet.
Kids are ganging up on dad.
I did not start the
No,
whole
No,
thing.
you absolutely did.
It was.
They're
While we're all
unionizing.
here-
They're unionizing.
This
Coley.
is not union.
while we're all apologizing and like saying things we did wrong. I mean, you started the whole thing on purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't
on
start.
Monday.
I didn't start anything on purpose. I thought it was an interesting discussion about who would last the longest in a survival situation, then who would be the leader, and then how we would all react to the leader. And in that moment, what we saw is our own little microcosm of a survival environment on this podcast.
Right, but
and you guys just turned on each other.
you know the comment you made that started like the whole thing.
I don't
We
recall.
didn't have to talk about eating other people.
Well, Billy, you did say when we were on that road trip across the country, you usually have a plan in any situation.
Yeah, but
like who's
that's-
going to be the first
but-
to be eaten.
Yeah, but those are my intrusive thoughts, and you have to think. Honestly, it could have been anybody.
It could have, yes, it could have been anybody. I like the arguments that happen on the show. I don't want there to be any actual bad blood. I don't think the listeners want that either. And I don't want people to be divided like, oh, get Billy off the show, get Big T off the show. I want you guys both on the show. I think that you guys create a good environment for the conversations that we have. Do I like to poke the bear a little bit? Sure. It's kind of my job. Mix things up a little bit. I don't ever want it to become an actual like bad blood situation. I do think that it's funny to me how the two biggest I don't want to say the S word, the skells, but two people that have both been openly combative against Rico Bosco. I think you guys have a lot more in common with Rico than you really think. Like the way that you've reacted has been very similar to how Rico would react in a similar situation. I think you might look
really,
up to him a
because
little
we're
bit.
both here.
Yeah, well, I think we did have. I mean, we're also 15 years younger than Rico.
Well, we got mad and for a little bit, and then like apologized, and we're both here.
Yeah.
So that's not really
I mean,
the same.
Rico follows through on his threats.
You guys also did just both agree it wasn't your fault, but it was PFT's.
Yeah.
Well, what I said was my fault. What Billy said was his fault. What PFT did to start the whole thing was his fault.
Yeah.
Listen, what PFT did, he didn't. I don't remember him holding up a sign to you saying, "Now say you're gonna fuck Billy's corpse."
You're correct.
But
That's
he kind
very
of
true.
did. He kind of did.
But yeah,
I implied it.
No.
There was an implication. It was heavily implied that I had spoken about specifically, which I denied because I didn't. I actually talked about eating another member of another podcast specifically. That wasn't in this podcast.
Wait,
Dan Katz.
who did you want to eat? I forget.
It's just that was the conversation. Anyway,
well, Billy, we're good.
good.
Let's all
Yeah.
go to the Rangers Capitals game.
yes,
I will buy you a beer.
it'll
Or-
be our second.
Thank you,
hockey
game
game.
time. Yep.
Thank
we've
you,
been,
game time.
We've been to a Rangers game prior.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to moving forward to the new, kinder, gentler macrodosing. Now, that being said, now I want to go directly at Coley
Let's hear
for
it.
something you said last week. You
Let's
laughed
hear it.
at me. You made me feel this big when I said Kyrie Irving
You are that big.
is a top. Shut the fuck up. I set you up for that. Now I'm mad at myself. I knew what I was doing. I'm trying to divide this podcast. No, you said Kyrie Irving definitively, like more than definitively, was not a top 10 player in the NBA. Probably not even
you're,
top 20
let's
player.
back it up. You said he was comfortably top 5.
You said
That's what I
5
laughed
first.
at, because that's just not true.
I think that when Kyrie Irving is playing like he played on Sunday, he's my favorite player to watch in the NBA right now.
He's incredible to watch, and I got Celtics fans tell me I'm too easy on Kyrie. The rest of the NBA says I'm just like another hater, so I know I'm calling it right down the middle. That's like how I know. I said he wasn't top 15 because that's how a lot of people determine all NBA, and I know he won't be all NBA. That's what I was saying.
It's because he
If you
didn't
really
play
wanna-
this year.
Whose fault was that?
Yeah, we're talking about his play on the court. We're not talking
his
about like
play on the court was limited by his brain.
Well, New York State.
Again,
And New York
listen,
City.
Red Sox are going to have like me and 3 other people playing next week in Toronto. Like, these are the rules. We know the rules.
I don't know. I don't know, Coley. I feel like
Well, let's
Kyrie
talk
Irving-
about his play. Let's talk about his play literally yesterday, PFT.
Yep,
Why
let's
did
do
the
it.
Nets lose that game?
Because Marcus Smart tapped into the good crazy part of his brain. So Marcus Smart, we were talking about this a little bit on Part of My Take, but he's insane. He's nuts.
Mhm.
And sometimes if you're crazy, it can lend itself to doing great things. Sometimes it's like what's his name? Rembrandt, right? Either he's painting amazing watercolors or whatever, or he's cutting his own ear off. One of the two. Yesterday, we had Marcus Smart paint a masterpiece on that last play because everybody knew that he's crazy enough to attempt that shot at the end of the game. And then he pulled it down and then made an insane pass that I don't think he would ever like expect to make. Nobody expects to have that play happen at the very end. It was borderline a dumb play that he made. But
No.
it worked out really well. I don't think anybody else makes that pass except for Marcus Smart. And obviously you can't argue with the result, which was the Celtics win at the very last second. But you got to see like the good part of Marcus Smart's crazy brain on that play. I don't think that you can't really blame that on Kyrie on the last play. It happened in a split second and he tried to reach around and poke the ball out, but I don't know what else you thought that he should do in that moment.
He definitely fouled him. I agree there. But even before that, he dribbled the air out of the ball in panic and then tossed it to Kevin Durant for a bad shot. Like, they could have put the game away if he didn't panic.
They also went 2 for 1 so fast, the Celtics did, that
Yeah.
the Nets could have gone 2 for 1 on the other end too.
Like,
Now,
yes,
you would never do that because you only had a 1-point lead, and so you don't want to give the ball back to the team. But they took that 2 for 1 so fast. I don't think that you can't blame Kyrie for that loss. Kyrie was unconscious. He was awesome, especially in the second half.
Kyrie was incredible in the second half. And there's he's one of the few players in the league I know he scored before he's even decided to shoot yet. Like when he had the ball in the corner against Jalen, and you knew he wasn't going to dribble, you knew he was just going to wait for that split second to go up. Those are the kind of shots he can make that you can see coming. Like Durant has his pull-ups, those are going in 100% of the time. But Kyrie, it's like, oh, he hasn't even shot yet. I'm already hanging my head because I know he's already scored. But he also is terrible at defense, which you saw in that last play. And I don't consider him a choke artist because we've seen too much evidence to the contrary. But he choked that game away on the Nets' last possession. Like, that was horrible basketball.
I don't think he's.
And if they had a real coach, maybe they could have directed him to do anything other than dribble the air out of the ball.
I don't think he's that bad at defense. I think you're overblowing how bad.
Terrible.
He played.
The Celtics hunted him the whole second half. That's why we scored at will.
Well, you scored at will because the Nets team defense as a whole is not very good.
But we targeted one guy specifically, and it was him.
I don't think that you can. You need to walk back your take of him not being a top 15 player. That's all I'm saying. Or at least give me an apology dance. I want you to give me an apology dance, Coley.
My argument is that he's not top 10. Why I said top 15 was because I know he won't be all NBA this year, and that's 15 players.
I disagree. I think that
can I make a counterpoint? And I agree with you, Coley, but all NBA is by position. So
I'll immediately counter this by the fact that they're now allowing to vote Joel Embiid as like a shooting guard this year.
I mean, yeah, they've gotten loosey-goosey with it, but it's still like
right.
You could be theoretically one of the 10, 15 best players in the NBA, and if you're the fourth best point guard, then you're not going to be on it.
Well, no, because there's 2 guard spots regardless for each. So
right, but you get what I'm saying.
Sure, but we both agree he's the 7th best guard per that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and there's a lot of really good bigs right now. Jason Tatum outplayed him yesterday, too, which was the crux of, or not the crux, it was part of that argument as well.
I still think Kyrie easily top 15. I would put him top 10. Maybe not top 5. I'll walk that one back.
He's certainly not top 5.
I'll walk that one back, but he's somewhere 6 through 10.
Do we want to list them out? I'm okay with that.
All right. KD.
Let's go with the easy ones. Hold on, let's go with the easy ones. Let's not even leave his team first. Kevin Durant.
All right, Kevin Durant. Steph Curry.
Okay, I thought that would be more contentious, but I agree, yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, Steph Curry is maybe the best shooter in the history of the NBA.
That's also true.
Yeah, LeBron. I'll put LeBron up there.
That one's closer,
I
but I'm okay with that.
Let's see, who else would I put up there?
Jokic.
Embiid.
Giannis.
Who's better than Kyrie left out there? I mean, I guess Luka.
Yep. I thought I was going to have to make harder arguments for most of the people we've already listed. So
and then I would put Kyrie.
Let me pull up the league.
But see, now that's not fair. I'm doing it off the top of my head.
Harden.
And you're doing Kyrie is definitely better than James Harden.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. What about aren't you a big Jimmy Bucket supporter?
I like Jimmy Butler. I like how much of a dog he is, but I feel like he's probably like the original argument on part of my take was that Jimmy Butler was not a top 15 player, and this was in 2016. I stand by. I think I was right. Like, you looked up all the lists that everybody would make online, and he would always be number 15 or number 16 at that point. I think he's probably number 11 right now. That feels like a good place for Jimmy.
Jimmy Butler?
Yeah. 11, 12.
He just can't shoot at all. He does, and it's a good point. He does have that dog in him.
Yeah. He's like mean, which I love. He's a mean guy. He'd probably hate me.
The clip of Bam talking to JJ Redick about him last week, and JJ was just like, he's such a fucking asshole, and Bam just starts dying laughing. Like, I don't know how anyone ever has the ability to play with Jimmy Butler for more than like a half season.
Right. I mean, you could go back and say like Dame is up there, but I think it's no question. I think that Kyrie's better based on what he's done.
Can I do a little blind resume test for you?
Oh yeah, I love blind resumes.
So this is also a guard.
Okay, first guy's Hitler.
No. Okay, so I'm gonna give you Kyrie's numbers.
27.4
27.4 points a game, 4.4 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 55% effective field goal percentage, 21.4 PER.
Okay.
This other guard, 28.4 points a game, 3.7 rebounds, 9.7 assists, 54% effective field goal percentage. They're both 38% from three, and this guy's a 25.4 PER, about 4 points higher. Would you say that?
I would
player-
agree Trae Young's better, Big T.
That
Mhm.
is Trae Young.
Hey, speaking of defense, we're just not going to talk about Trae Young's defense, are we?
Trae Young's
doesn't really
defense is
matter.
not great.
Who would you rather have? One stop, Coley, Trae Young or Kyrie? Because
One
On
stop.
on defense,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna take Kyrie.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
take
I don't know.
literally
Trae's-
anyone else.
Trae's so fragile that him attempting to play defense could potentially cause an offensive foul. Kyrie will traditionally try and guard it and just get blown by.
Okay. I'd still take Kyrie over Trae. Who's a better dribbler? They don't show that in the stats.
I would also tell you a guy with pretty similar numbers is Ja Morant.
I was
Okay.
going to bring up Ja. Ja was like an MVP candidate most of the year.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's fair. I'm still in the mode where I have to be reminded about Ja Morant being like an elite superstar now because he's still so young. And that's the
Right.
other thing, like Kyrie has done it for a longer time. He's proven a track record. Ja Morant still like a question mark. We don't know what he's going to do in the playoff.
but also proven it mostly as a number two. When Kyrie's been the number one, the best case scenario was getting embarrassed by the Bucks in the first round. That's the only time he's made the playoffs as the number one option.
That's fair. But also, I feel like the team around Kyrie then was not like if Kyrie was on the Celtics right now, you would say that
Yeah,
they'd be
we'd be okay.
okay, probably better than they are right now, right?
The human element factor is so tough to bring in with him. Like you don't know. Like if just the talent, yeah, it would be hard to dismiss. But like, I don't know. I really don't know.
All right, I still stand by my take. Kyrie Irving, top 10 player in the NBA when he's on the court.
We didn't even talk about like Booker. Booker's cold. I'm sure if Russillo was here, he'd do an hour on why Chris Paul's better.
Yeah, I mean Chris Paul, they play a different game, but Chris Paul is, I think, like he's awesome to watch. He's a lot of fun. I just keep waiting for something to happen, like in the playoffs. I want Chris Paul to win a ring in theory, but also it is fun to be like this guy, no rings.
Yeah, it is, and he's like just such an asshole. Like he's him and Jimmy Butler are both just such dickheads.
Also, I got to take my guy Blake Griffin's side. So, come on, Blake.
What about him?
Just the Blake Chris Paul beef.
Oh, okay. I thought you were putting Blake in the top 10. I was like, not anymore, sadly.
When
And I'm a
he's-
big Blake guy.
When Blake Griffin is in midair, he's a top 10 player in the NBA.
Yes.
From the point where like he's reached the apex of his jump, I don't think that you can name 10 players better than him.
No.
Billy, you have anything to add to the NBA debate?
Trae Young's just got huge real estate in New York head. That still echoes today. They were chanting at the Yankee game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were chanting at the Yankee game when I was there. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it was one game.
It was one game. And that was a very, very funny thing to look back at in retrospect. The one win that the Knicks got at home in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they had a riot. The city rioted.
Yeah.
People should be talking
Well,
about that instead of talking about Minnesota fans being pumped up for a play-in game.
Yeah.
The city of New York rioted when they won one playoff game.
Dude, New York is starved for basketball success right now, or any like baseball. Like in my time period, I've only seen one championship, 3 championships.
Man, that's tough.
That's,
Well, compared to
that's a
some of
lot.
these-
Billy.
Billy really
compared to
was
other
born
these-
at the worst possible time.
Yeah. No, actually, it
So-
was way more than that. Now that I think about it, it was 5.
Yeah,
But I don't
the
remember.
Yankees won a shitload, right?
I know. Yeah, never mind.
So the of the last 20 years, the New York Knicks have the exact same amount of playoff wins as the Seattle Supersonics. Not the Supersonics and the Thunder, just the Supersonics.
And how many is that?
I believe it's 4
They had that one series in like
or 5. 5, sorry.
Yeah, against the Celtics.
11 or 12, was it?
I was in
maybe
7th grade.
13.
That was the last time I really paid attention to the Knicks, was during that series against the Celtics when you had Melo, Kevin Garnett yelling about Honey Nut Cheerios, and then Linsanity, and then everything sort of just, it wasn't even worth following anymore.
How many playoff series have the Knicks won
That's it.
in 20 years?
So
Just one?
They
Yeah.
Just the one against the Celtics.
So the Knicks have as many. They've advanced in the playoffs exactly as many times since 2000 as the Washington Redskins, Commanders, and football team. That's very
it's not
sad.
it's since like 03 or 0. I think it's since 02 because the Allen Houston like 01 team won around.
Okay.
So 2000, they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. 01, they lost in the first round. 04, they lost in the first round. 11, they lost in the first round. 12, they lost in the first round. 13, they got to the second round. And then 21, they lost.
Well, you know, Tucker Carlson's making people sun their balls.
He is. Good transition, Billy. I saw that video. If you haven't seen the Tucker Carlson, what is it called? The End of Men or something like that. I recommend pausing whatever you're doing right now and going to watch the video. I can't get enough of it. It's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. He's lamenting the fact that society is no longer creating real men, true alphas,
Yeah.
like red meat eating, muscular, hair on their chest, cavemen alpha males like Tucker Carlson. That has ceased to be a part of the modern landscape. And he created a video which is I'm trying to figure out what he's getting at. It's just a lot of pictures of shirtless guys working out.
So the basis of it is that in the past, several generations, the average testosterone level has apparently decreased as a baseline. And, they're saying how like this is probably caused by numerous factors. Alex Jones talked about them. It's this whole idea and ideology of thinking. But the thing is, his solution is that, he was talking to this guy about this phenomenon, and this guy's solution is to use infrared technology on your nuts.
Okay.
Which is basically like just shining a red light on your nuts. And I sort of get the process of thinking of that, like this exposure to light will cause vitamin D synthesis, something that we're all seen to have way less of because we're all inside all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Vitamin D deficiency has been linked to a lot of mental health issues. And honestly, you should be taking vitamin D. I take 10,000 IUs every day, personally. So I get that thinking.
Subcutaneously?
Not
inject it?
No, intramuscular. No. I'm kidding. No, you can take vitamin D orally.
Okay.
That's
pretty sick.
Yeah.
So testosterone production is decreased, and Tucker's figuring out that the way to solve this is by exposing your nuts to the sun.
Right.
Do you remember when yoga people were talking about like sunning your perineum a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Turns out that everyone that laughed at those, that you're really the closed-minded ones.
I just feel like it's like you're not actually, your testicles are not coming in contact with any of the sun. It's the skin outside. So in my opinion, like this is just a recipe for like skin cancer.
That, and also just a lot of people getting arrested for indecent exposure.
Well, if you're doing it in the privacy of your own home, I guess.
Yeah, I've got another solution for it.
What?
And this kind of goes back to the vitamin D, spending more time outside. We are all cooped up in office spaces all day long.
Yeah.
What about recess? Why don't employers give you recess every day? Imagine that if there was like an office building, let's say you work at a cube, you have a basketball court outside, maybe a kickball field. You've got, I don't know, like a blacktop setup. You can play Foursquare. Just like let people go outside for 45 minutes a day and just have fun outside for a little bit. Why don't we do recess?
I mean, don't like the millennial lib tech companies do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They've got like full gyms and all, everything you described.
But that's still inside.
Yeah, why not outside?
I don't no, Google has like a 1 billion acre campus or whatever with all sorts of stuff.
They're doing pretty well.
Well,
I'm just saying.
monetarily,
Yeah,
they're destroying the fabric of our society, but yeah, they're doing great.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, recess, does that make me a lib because I feel like people should get outdoors and exercise?
No.
Sounds like me and Tucker
No.
Carlson have a lot in common.
No,
on
I
this
was
topic.
saying those types of companies are doing that.
Okay. Also, I get that people are using the refrain that tech companies are all liberal. I feel like most of them are very libertarian. Very
Well,
libertarian.
Really?
Yeah.
In
I feel
what
like they
sense?
claim to be, but then they give all their money to like right-wing organizations. So who's to say?
Yeah, I think that they give money to people that they think will let them make the most money.
Right.
Now, are you talking about the employees of the tech companies that? Because
Both.
you probably read in the news like, oh, Netflix had a bunch of employees walk out because of
No,
Dave
I'm
Chappelle or
talking
whatever.
about Twitter like actively silencing opinions it doesn't like.
Like the Hunter Biden laptop thing.
Not even that. Like, I mean, yeah, yes, that like saying this is misinformation and not allowing you to share it. Turns out 100% true. Or like the Babylon Bee. Do you know what that is?
Yeah,
So you know that account is suspended, right?
I think they should have been suspended a long time ago just for not being funny.
Okay, but like they're suspended for I forget exactly what the tweet was. I believe it was someone gave an award for Woman of the Year to a transgender woman,
Mm-hmm.
and they said they gave the same person Man of the Year.
Okay.
And Twitter was like, you either have to delete this tweet or we're leaving your account suspended. And they could have just deleted the tweet themselves if they didn't like it, like,
Mm-hmm.
but they chose not to. But that's not even a good example. Like they
No, it wasn't.
no, it's not. They remove things that they don't like.
Yeah, I was shadow banned, by the way, on Instagram last week. This is real.
Oh,
And
why?
People think that shadow banning's not a thing. There was something weird that happened because I uploaded the clip of Craig Robinson singing Purple Rain while I played it on guitar when he was on Part of My Take, and I put it on Instagram. And then I checked like a couple days later as I was scrolling through my feed to find something, and I think it had like 250 views. Like just views. I'm not talking about likes or anything like that. 250
Huh.
views.
How did you upload? What did you upload it as? A reel or as a post?
I think it was just a post.
Was it under a minute?
I believe it was about a minute exact.
If it was a minute and it wasn't a reel, I don't know if you were shadow banned or if the algorithm just like they won't jack post unless it's a reel.
Well, so the algorithm is akin to shadow. Like a lot of people complain like I've been shadow banned, but in reality, the algorithm wasn't in your favor. That's what I'm getting at here. Is like obviously like there's nobody at Instagram that's like I don't like this song, and they're not letting it go out to the masses for whatever reason. It got tripped up in something that they have like a formula for, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
we're not gonna. But it was just like shocking that like 250 views or whatever. It's just like it's very clearly something was going on there that was out of the ordinary. But then like 2 days later, the views went like way like people started to see it all of a sudden. So I don't know what that was about.
I mean,
but
it's
I understand Big T's perspective that like Twitter sometimes they ban things or they delete posts that they think are misinformation, and then later it comes out that it actually was true.
And it's not even
It's a-
just Twitter.
It's a tricky thing for them because they also have to walk the fine line of if there is somebody out there that's like calling for violence or posting somebody's home address, you have to delete that, right? And then you have to delete certain things for, if it's like targeted in any way or like a call for violence. And then it's like, where do you draw the line? I think that Twitter is still figuring out exactly like how to do that. And sometimes they put their foot in their mouth.
well, like remember back when Chris Long said something that he wished I died of dehydration,
Yeah.
and then he got blocked. Not blocked, but he got his account suspended,
Mm-hmm.
and he thought I did it to him, when really just Twitter just was banning everybody at that point.
A lot of people were saying that you were responsible for it.
I was not responsible for it. There's much more worse comments on my Twitter
Yeah.
than I hope you die of dehydration. But I think they're just trying to figure out that censorship. But there is hope. There is a freedom of speech advocate trying to rescue the whole situation.
So either Elon is like a real freedom of speech advocate or he's just like a great troll.
I don't understand how the richest person in the world taking over the most, well, like Facebook is used more than Twitter, but Twitter's a very important platform of speech. He's been able to champion himself as like a free. I'm way against that also.
Yeah, it's kind of
Correct.
weird, isn't it? It's like, okay, we're sick of literally the wealthiest person in the world being persecuted. So it's kind of become
He's got
shorthand.
great PR.
At times he does. Other times, like when he's naming his child like
Sure.
the quadratic formula or whatever,
Yeah.
then everyone's like, what the fuck? Elon taking over Twitter it's become shorthand. Like if you're a conservative, a lot of times online you feel like most of the conservatives I've seen are like, this is a great thing, go Elon. And then most of the liberals that I've seen are like, this is akin to Nazi Germany. Not most of the liberals are saying that. I have seen a couple instances where people are freaking out about Elon taking over.
But what's the difference between Jeff Bezos owning the Washington Post and Elon Musk owning Twitter?
There's not a lot of different. Like there's definitely some parallels there.
It's 100%.
And but I guess a big difference would be like Jeff Bezos says that he is hands off the editorial side. Now, if there's like a deep investigation into something that he's personally doing, I'm sure that he would be able to like try to silence that. Elon is openly advocate, be like, yes, I'm going to be determining what's going to happen. He's saying like, yes, I will be very involved in it.
Right, but I think he's going to be involved in it in being hands off.
But
I think that's his whole.
I also don't think Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post because the Washington Post was writing bad things about Jeff Bezos, like how Elon's getting silenced by Twitter. So he's like, I might as well buy it.
Elon's not getting silenced by Twitter. He just uses it a lot.
He also it's funny because you see like Elon trying to take it over, and then a lot of people finding out in real time how the SEC works and how like any sort of stock transaction actually happens. And then now, since they rejected his initial offer, everyone's like, well, now there's going to be a lawsuit, and then Twitter's going to be fucked because they didn't do what was in the best fiduciary interest of their stockholders. In reality, like I think that there's probably a case that Twitter can make that not having Elon would be better for the company because he's trying to get it and at what, $54 a share.
Yeah, but Twitter.
No one really knows what the valuation of Twitter will be in like 6 months, anyways.
Right,
so you can make the case that it'll be higher. You can make the case it'll be lower.
But Twitter, the company, will be fine. It's the board members who can get sued and in trouble, and they're just employees. They don't have much stake in the company at all. They're appointed by the shareholders to act in the fiduciary. The word I can't pronounce, but the financial interest of the company.
It's the nuclear option.
The nuclear. But by that means that all those board members did not act in the financial interest of the company because 54, I think the price of a Twitter stock price, I think it's way under 54. So like even it's 48.15 currently, and it's only gone up the past day. So in the last 5 days, it's gone down from 40. Yeah. So them doing it at 54 is like this. Like stock price of Twitter was never ever expected to go over 54 short period. So like, I mean, getting it for 54.
It was in like the 60s and 70s, like 6 or 8 months ago. I think it was high. It's just impossible to say like that. This is the best offer that they're going to be able to get for the company. Now I'm not a person that like sees Elon taking over Twitter and I'm like, well, I'm logging off. I'm done. Like it's probably not going to make that much of a difference in my day to day. I just, as a general rule of thumb, don't like the idea of a very rich person taking over anything really, because then they can just bend it to their will. Like to Big T's point, I don't think that it's good that Jeff Bezos, he owns the Washington Post. I don't think that's a good thing at all. I think that we should be able to agree on that. But I don't know. It's just become shorthand for like a culture war that I don't think is. I think a lot of people just are getting whipped up into a frenzy by it when it's probably not going to make that much difference on your day-to-day lives.
Well, like for example, like hypothetically, one of us could get banned for an off-color tweet.
Yep. True.
But like not like hypothetically.
Yes. No. Yeah. I mean, correct.
So
we don't have a right to post on Twitter. That's the thing. And I know some people are saying Twitter's become like the de facto town square. That's like a phrase that I've heard repeatedly.
Musk is the one saying that.
I don't really know what a town square is. Like, are we like walking around? Is this like a Renaissance fair?
The forum?
And one person's got the tall box, and so he's gathering a crowd around. It becomes very tricky because Twitter's still a very young company. It's been around for started 2007, I think. So about 16 years. It's still like a very young company. And there will be another company that comes around in the next 20 years that kind of takes the place of Twitter. But how do you identify what that company is and when do they become treated as like a free speech zone? As opposed to like if you just start, like Big T, if you were to start just like a message board or whatever about the Braves, and then someone were to go on there and be like, Acuna ruined this team. We were better without him last year. and then you ban that person because it's your website, you're allowed to do that, right?
Sure.
If you don't like them, at what point would your hypothetical Braves website become so big that now you're no longer allowed to exercise any sort of like editorial control over what gets posted on
Well,
it?
I mean, you're saying when they are exercising their rights to ban opinions, like where do you draw the line? Okay, this is the same thing. Where do you draw the line? At some point, someone decides this is a public utility,
Mhm.
and they're acting as a publisher rather than a conduit of other people's
It's like at what point
opinions.
at what point did a water company, like let's say in ancient Rome, I feel like it was, I don't know if it was private enterprises who engineered the aqueduct.
Yeah, so the government builds like water facilities and power facilities here in the United States, so that's why they're controlled. Like the taxpayers paid for it. The taxpayers didn't necessarily pay for Twitter.
Or the government gave out private contract
Yeah, so it's just
to independent company.
I feel like people are it's a weird problem that we have where there's a lot of people that don't trust a private company anymore and think that it should be treated as a public one or a public like a utility. But then that opens a lot of things up to a lot of different questions. Like if any major company that people use all the time doesn't act according to like the wishes of 40% of the public, then that company now has to be taken over by the government as a public utility. I don't know the right answer, but I think that Elon is. I honestly think that he's just trolling. I think that he got 9%.
Well, I think he wanted them to say no. He
Yeah,
just wanted to make them like he made them an offer that they will make money on, and he wanted to make them say no to it.
Yeah, and he will make money on it too. Like Elon, as a big shareholder of Twitter, he made money off the stock going up just by saying he wanted to buy it.
But the SEC's got to investigate whether for example, he would have had to make money off of him buying 9%, stock price going up.
Mhm.
He would have had to sold stock, which I think the SEC would then have a legitimate claim to be like, he sold the stock to make the money. That's stock manipulation. And then at that point, like for example, like if he doesn't end up taking over the whole company, I don't think the stock price goes up. Meaning that he's not actually going to make any money unless he achieves what he's trying to do.
How is that illegal, by the way? I know I just said I don't want the guy taking over Twitter, but now I'm going to take up for him. If you buy stock and you just tweet about something that you bought and like that you like,
Yeah,
and then the stock goes up, that's not your fault. What if
it's
someone
insider trading. Only you knew the information that you were currently purchasing that stock.
What if someone who has like millions of followers on Instagram does a brand deal with whoever, gets stock as part of their deal, and then tweets like, man, or posts on Instagram like, man, I really love this product, and the stock goes up? That's the same thing.
Yeah, I
think that's what happened to Martha Stewart.
It is that's a little bit different. What happened with her? She like bought stocks on a tip.
Okay.
But
That's what Pelosi does.
Yeah.
yeah. No, she's just
Yeah, a lot of people do it.
Pelosi's just very good at timing the market.
She's the greatest trader in the history of the stock market.
She is. Yeah, to Big T's point, that's kind of I think what Elon was doing was he got 9% of all the stock at Twitter, knowing that the price would go up once he was linked to Twitter like that. And then when he publicly says, I want to take it over, the price is going to go up a little bit more. And then he's going to make money off that trade. I think it might even just be that simple.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he likes people talking about him, being like, oh, what does it mean for America, for Elon Musk to take over Twitter? He likes having his name in the news to the point where people are now saying like Elon Musk should run for president and he would win. And they're completely forgetting the fact that I'm like 99.9% sure he was born in South Africa to South African parents. So he's ineligible.
We're definitely gonna do a whole episode on Elon Musk's origin story. Go back years into how exactly his family was so entrenched, and so it's very interesting.
I think Elon's just kind of like a shit poster who happens to be the world's richest person. So he's like he's fucking with everybody, which I almost respect. And I don't think that it's going to make that much of a difference on my day-to-day life, whether or not he takes over Twitter or not. Now, that said, I've identified my own interesting investment opportunity. It's another company it's been in the public sphere. It's almost like it is the town square, the de facto town square for lunatics, at least. That's Infowars. Infowars just declared bankruptcy today. They filed for Chapter 11 because Alex Jones could not pay the money in the lawsuit against the Sandy Hook families, which goes back to 2012, 2013, when he was saying all the stuff about it being a false flag, no kids really died, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so the families sued him. He's tried to stop the lawsuit many times in court. I think he offered each family like $130,000 to make the lawsuit go away. They said, fuck you. So, he's just declared bankruptcy. Infowars declared bankruptcy. I see this as a very intriguing investment opportunity for myself. I'm looking at the stats right now. I had one of my finance guys run the numbers on it. Apparently, in the last 3 years, they brought in real cash, mostly through their sale of hilarious supplements.
Wait, can you hire me for this?
For what?
For like, if we like rebrand Infowars, can I be in charge of the supplements division?
The last thing you want to do is rebrand it. The branding couldn't. That's like buying Nike and being like, let's get the check off of it. Like, no.
No, but
you keep Infowars the exact same.
I re-image. Like we're like.
I agree, Coley, that the brand, I'm buying the brand Infowars for sure. They put in all the work over the years developing the content and everything associated with it. I want to take over Infowars. My strategy would be to turn it around. I'm doing like the reverse Elon Musk. So I want to buy Infowars and take it public, not like buying Twitter and taking it private. I want to buy Infowars, take it public. But my rule is you're not allowed to discuss politics at all on Infowars.
Yeah.
I want to make Infowars great again. I want to get back because a lot of people that kind of parachuted in the last 6-7 years to Infowars, this is not what Alex Jones used to be. He used to be way, way crazier than he is right now. I'm talking you're allowed to only discuss science, like Earth theories, hollow Earth stuff.
Hell yeah.
Reptilians. You are allowed to discuss whether or not Hillary Clinton is Satan. I'm okay with that. You can talk about like if a politician smells like sulfur. I'm down for that.
Yelling.
You can just the Clintons in general. You can still talk about the Clinton family in general.
And the royal family.
Sports. All these things are all fair game.
Athletes
on the new Infowars. Yeah.
Tom
Athletes.
Brady smells like sulfur.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Is he a reptilian?
I want Infowars to stick to sports. No, I want them to just not do modern politics at all. I don't want you backing candidates. I don't want you talking about what's going on in Congress right now. I want Infowars to get back to the basics, and that's getting like aliens are currently living amongst us and they control the world's supply of gold. That's what I want Infowars to be again. I think with your help, the public, we can make that happen. So according to the numbers that I've seen through my finance guy, they've pulled in like $165 million over the last 3 years. So I feel like they also claimed in their filing that they have assets of like $50,000. So they're basically broke. Either that or Alex Jones is lying, which I don't think we can say that about Alex Jones. I don't want to impugn the man's character. They have liabilities in the 1 million to 10 million range. So I don't know what they're looking at in terms of an investment to buy Infowars, but I feel like I could get some cash together. I feel like I could almost crowdsource this. I'll put in the lion's share of the money. I feel like I could buy Infowars.
Well,
and then Billy, yes, you can run the supplement division.
And can I also do like old school Vice content?
Yes.
Like send me to fucking
the moon.
Yes.
To see if it's real.
See if it's cheese. No, just cheese. It might be cheese.
We're gonna send Billy to the moon, and you're gonna be able to tell if the moon's real by just like you're gonna get on a spaceship and just go full steam ahead at the moon, and you're either gonna go through it because it's a hologram, or you're just gonna crash into it and die. But that will be proof that it's actually real.
Sweet.
Billy is now Gavin McInnes.
Like I want to go search for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we need to get back to the hilarious Bat Boy. Find out what happened to Bat Boy.
Put me in the caves.
Yes. Send Billy underground.
No, but I was actually like, there's been a couple of fake Bigfoot sightings in the news recently. And I think that we should make a fake Bigfoot sighting and then like make it go viral, make it super convincing.
Didn't the Nelk boys do that last year?
Oh, they did. Oh,
They brought out like a Bigfoot expert and like planted eggs, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's Bigfoot," and then they were like, "No, it's not, you fucking moron."
Well, Bigfoot definitely would not lay
yeah,
eggs.
Bigfoot does not lay
It's
eggs.
a
One
mammal.
would think. One would think.
I'm just saying, like, Infowars got too PC over the years. I feel like we need to bring it back to the old, like, just shoot first, ask questions later. Probably a bad use of phrase there, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I want Infowars to be fucking insane again and just like mind-bending stuff. Not the modern Infowars. I want to take it back a little bit, but yeah, Billy, it is interesting because the whole Sasquatch thing. There've been like 3 different sightings in the last couple of weeks. And it's funny watching Billy's reactions to him because Billy's like, "That's a fake Sasquatch sighting." He can spot a fake Sasquatch a mile away. What are you looking for? Like, what would?
Well, did you see the one where I said this is definitely the one where I said it was fake?
Yeah.
Well, it was a very obviously fake Photoshop one, but I just need to get some legitimacy in the fake community.
Yeah, PFT sent this thing of Sasquatch, and Billy said fake, but we'll discuss.
No, that one. The reason why that one's fake is because it's been claimed by multiple states to be like, oh, it's from Ohio, oh, it's from Alabama, oh, it's from here, oh, it's from there. So definitely, like, you know, at that point, you know, it's being spread around for some reason. Pictures are getting around, but I mean, definitely fake. That one's 100% a guy in a suit. But I think we should get into. We've spent so long on the looking for Bigfoot. We should start being Bigfoot.
Got it.
Like start like Coley.
Make your own.
Coley, I think you'd be a great candidate for the guy wearing the suit. I'm just saying.
I mean, Big T has size 16 feet.
7.
I think we have a
17 feet.
pair. No, oh my God, we have the perfect pair of big feet to run around.
Yeah.
2 pairs.
No, it would actually be great. Like, yeah, put Coley in a suit, or maybe just don't shave your back for a while, and then have you and Big T hanging out like by a river somewhere on a tree line, and it would be like, look, we found
2 big feet.
a husband wife.
Yes,
Bigfoot.
dude. Honestly, this would be great if we put both of you guys. I would get in a costume, but like I don't.
Oh,
even
I
have
would
the
do
big-
it. I just can't.
We got a thing that weekend.
No, because I have the smallest feet. I have size 14s, and they're not even the biggest feet on this podcast.
I'm a 13. Nice
I could
try,
be the
pal.
baby Sasquatch. That would be perfect.
I don't know if you could pull off a baby Sasquatch look, Billy.
Well, I'm the smaller of the 3 Sasquatch.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3". So you guys could be the adult Sasquatch.
That's the perfect height in my mind.
What, 6'3"?
6'3".
Because you're tall, but you're not like you can get on planes
Mm-hmm.
and like.
I had a lady get mad at me. My knees were in the back of her seat. She like yelled at me, and I was literally like tucked up, and I was just like, "Sorry."
I almost got in a fight with somebody a couple weeks ago because they were mad about that, and I was like, "You serious right now?"
About your size?
Just
Yeah.
that my knees were in the back of the seat. I was like, "Are you being serious right now?"
How
like
can
I
they-
would,
so
I would
they were
love
tr-
for this to not be happening.
Wait, they were trying to recline, or it was just like your knees were poking
So
in their back?
so she tried to recline, and I kind of made it very apparent with the pressure of the knees that
Hip
that was.
arm to the back of her head.
I did give it a little boost to make it clear that was not going to happen. And then about 5 minutes later, she tried to recline again, and I was just not going to let. I can't, like, my knees were in the back of the seat,
Mm-hmm.
and then she kind of looked back and like wanted to say something, and I just looked at her like, are you being serious right now?
Is the cost to benefit ratio for reclining your seat on an airplane like the lowest possible
Plane
thing
seats
that
should
you
not
can do?
recline.
They recline like 2 inches, and it doesn't make you any more comfortable.
Should not recline.
It just makes the people behind you really, really mad.
Yeah.
I only recline if there's a child or it's an empty seat.
I very rarely take action in public thinking about other people.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a big enough asshole to recline my seat on a plane.
Yeah. I don't understand people that do it. Even if you're like a tall person, I just don't think that
It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't provide it. You tilt backwards like 2 degrees, and that's it.
I
It
think
does nothing for your legs.
I think if it's late, if you're doing like a red eye or a late night flight,
Nope. Sorry.
still,
No.
I think it depends on like the
'Cause I-
environment that you're in. If
'cause I
there's
think
a
at that-
child behind you, it's
the
okay.
surrounding of everyone else might, like, it's a majority thing, like group thing. Like if everyone else is an 11 p.m. flight, red
Mhm.
eye, I think we can lean.
If everybody leans back, then
Then you
that's
can
one
lean back.
thing.
Right. But if
But-
you're taking a 3 p.m. flight, fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? I'm a good plane sleeper.
I'm great. I'm a great plane
Dude,
sleeper.
when the G force of the runway and like taking off, for some reason just puts me out like
Dude,
a light.
it's like there's melatonin in the air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the oxygen too.
Yeah.
The high oxidation gets me. I don't know why.
I was on a plane yesterday and like it was 4 p.m. I needed a nap immediately.
It was great.
It does make you tired too, just like after you land after traveling.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to the better thing. We need to make a family of big feet and make it go viral in a video. I think it would be great for podcast.
What would the family be doing?
Something
Breastfeeding.
What? Yeah, just
So,
like by
yeah.
the water.
So Billy, you're the baby squatch,
Yeah, on the baby squatch.
and you're latched onto Big T's nipple.
Let's
We-
say we did.
Yeah,
I mean, this is your idea.
I know, but I don't know if I think it needs to be more cryptic. So like a faraway photo, family of squatch.
Are you eating?
We're by the water and we're drinking water like apes
Mm-hmm.
with like cupping our hands. That would definitely go viral.
Okay.
We could get some serious big feet people in on it.
Coley,
I
you
think
in?
I can't think of an easier way to get shot than trotting around the Maine woods dressed like Bigfoot. Like that sounds like an easy way to get shot by a shotgun. But if
Yeah.
you're really trying to go viral, like we only have ever seen Bigfoot walking around drinking, like doing nothing. We should be mauling the shit out of PFT. That's the video.
Whoa.
We're
Huh.
ripping them limb from limb like Shaun of the Dead.
I mean, you're not wrong. I
I
wish
know.
that you would use a different example, but
Should we make?
I wanted to come up with a counter argument, but I'm like, actually, like if big feet are murdering somebody, that's very tough to fake.
Why don't we do like a lost footage type tape where you have the camera and then the big feet just take you out.
Like Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, well, what we could do, you don't have to rip me limb from limb, but I'll just be like on my back by the river. And then I'll have just like a bunch of red stuff on my belly. And you guys are just going like just pulling out my fake intestines and eating them.
And the intestines are very obviously like strings of hot dog and sausage. that are
Yeah.
attached.
I'm telling you, I think Billy's onto something. I think that doing our own,
Yeah.
We gotta take
it'd
matters
be
into
great
our
for the
own
Macrodosing podcast. I'm just saying.
it would be.
Take a little trip.
It would be
dress up as
great.
If Bigfoot runs up to the camera at the end, it's like subscribe, download, rate 5 stars.
I love it. One other thing I wanted to get into before we get into today's topic, which is the royal family and conspiracies around the British monarchy. There was something found in France last week. Did you guys see the Notre Dame thing?
The Notre Dame.
Yeah. So last week in the rubble of Notre Dame, the cathedral over there in Paris, which, by the way, you remember when that burned down a few years ago? And then everybody online got mad at me for making a joke about Notre Dame football as the cathedral was burning because they're like, oh, that's fucked up, PFT. I visited that church when I studied abroad 5 years ago. It has a deep meaning to me. And people were like, oh, I can't. Actually, that was my first taste of people being like, in case anyone still doubted that Barstool was trash about me, because I made a joke. I was like, no, usually Notre Dame waits until late October to melt down. And then people were like, this is fucked up.
What percentage of the people who, because I remember Twitter that day, they're like, wow, what a travesty. What percentage of the people who said they had a deep personal connection to that building donated to help like rebuild?
That's a good question. Probably very few.
I would guess less
Well,
than one.
Why would you donate to that?
Well, if they were claiming how much it meant to them personally, and
Sure.
You know who needs more money is the Catholic Church.
Right.
Great
That's
point.
more what I'm getting at.
No, but I mean, Big T's. I understand the point that he's
Sure.
making, which is just people are being like performatively upset about it.
that's 2022. Just performatively being upset.
It was a building.
That's the Democratic Party.
It was an old building that burned down. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was killed in it. Yes,
Yeah.
it was a beautiful building. I've been there. I enjoyed it. I took a couple pictures when I was inside. They wouldn't let me light a candle because I was not confirmed in the Catholic faith. But it's a nice building. It's good. It was old. It had a lot of history.
Well, it's one of the major landmarks of Western civilization.
I would object to that.
But historically,
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice, important old building. I get that. but I'm still gonna crack a joke about Brian Kelly.
Right.
Am I correct? Are my timelines incorrect, or was that happening as the rainforests were simultaneously burning down?
Ooh, I don't know.
I think it might have been Australia was burning.
Something else large was on fire that needed more thoughts and prayers than the church. No one died in the church, right?
No, nobody died in there.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Like a worker kicked over a paint bucket next to an open flame, an all-time cartoonish mishap, and then accidentally burned down the most important building in the world.
Are they sure?
That's funny.
Is that really?
Yeah, that's basically what happened. I mean, I'm simplifying a little bit.
Speaking of Brian Kelly, you see he's on his burners.
Yes.
I asked Coley, I wrote a blog about it, and I asked if I could write a Brian Kelly joke, which he said yes.
That's not what happened.
It is.
No. You asked me if I thought that's what happened in the real world, not if you could crack a joke about it.
No. I didn't end up writing it. Hang on a second.
The internet's cut off. Okay.
But yeah, so they found a mummy underneath there. Like they found a sarcophagus.
Oh.
And it was 60 feet underground, I think 150 feet underground. Now, that's also incorporating the fact that there's a basement in the cathedral, which goes underground quite a bit. And then it was like 10 feet underneath the floor of that. But they found a sarcophagus with a mummy inside. They don't know who it is. They don't know what it's from, but they want to open it. And France has said that they're going to open this mummy and see what's inside and see what we can learn from it. I think this is going to go one of two ways. Either it's going to be awesome, and we're going to find out that it was somebody just, like, we're going to learn a lot about ancient history, or the rest of the earth will be forever cursed until this mummy is destroyed. Really one of two ways.
Well, Paris, the tombs underneath Paris, there's tons of bodies.
The catacombs.
The catacombs. Like, honestly, there's so much stuff down there. Like Paris, I think, is an extremely old city, older than most, in that incorporated into like how many plagues they had, how many bodies piled up, how many they had to like throw down there. So this mummy, like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's that rare. It's just that its placement was directly under Notre Dame.
Well, it might be very well preserved because it was in a lead coffin.
I was gonna say, in every Catholic church there is.
It was in a lead coffin?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
That's a vampire.
There we go.
That's a fucking Sorry to interrupt, man.
No, that's way more exciting than what I was gonna say.
It was a lead sarcophagus.
I'm pretty sure in a book I read that you're supposed to put vampire bodies in a lead coffin.
I'm sure he did.
Sounds like a great book. What kind of book are we talking about here?
Dude, I read a lot of books.
Did you ever read those books growing up, Billy? The like National Geographic books that were about different topics. It'd be like mummies or like ghosts, or they were like not chapter books or anything, but they would give you like the details of them as like a 7-year-old.
Dude, you know what books I read religiously, which I think was the basis for a lot of my knowledge in life and set me up very, very well?
Magic Tree House.
No, Horrible History. It's actually an English book, but they basically told you all the best parts of like his like horrible histories of like Incas, the Vikings, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans. I need to find these books because literally they are the best books in the world. If you want your kid to be intellectually curious about the world and do decently well in school until they graduate and become a podcaster, and then everyone thinks they're stupid because they talk about weird stuff, buy them the whole collections of Horrible Histories.
Okay. 14th century is when this mummy was from, so the 1300s. Not that old, really. But I'm on board for opening this lead sarcophagus. Maybe it is a vampire.
Dude, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to put either a vampire or a werewolf in a lead coffin. Dude, that's also fascinating, just how all those old time legends about vampires and werewolves, like there's literal stuffed animal that they believed were werewolves that have gone disappeared that were on display in different museums, like actual like beasts that would terrorize different parts of the European countryside. And they're like, yeah, like in the history book, there's like, yeah, that was a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's one called the Beast of somewhere in France, the Beast of Avignon, which they think, yeah, the Beast of Avignon. Wait, I think that might be a storybook. A fictional counterpart of a historical. Wait, no, that's a different one. The beast of
So we're trying to figure out whether or not this mythological creature was real.
the beast of Gavendon. Between 1764 and 1767, a mysterious beast called the Beast of Gavendon ravaged the rural region of Gavendon, France. Yeah. So they think it might have been a hyena that was with a traveling circus
Okay.
that escaped. So the Kingdom of France used a considerable amount of money and manpower to hunt the animals responsible, including resources of several nobles, soldiers, royal huntsmen, and civilians. Wow. 98 of the victims killed were partially eaten. A 1987 study estimated that there have been 610 attacks. Like, what?
Billy is right though about the about Paris just being kind of a creepy city with all the bodies, because it's been around for so long that eventually the cemeteries start to run out of room to put people. So they just have, at one point they put, I think, millions of dead bodies underground in these old mining tunnels that they had there.
Yeah.
And so you can go take a tour of it. I took a tour when I was over there, and it's like, I don't know, 2 hours long, and it's kind of creepy. It's just skeletons everywhere, like piles of bones. Very scary. And there's like so much more of it that is not available to see on a tour. They don't just let you walk through the entire thing, but there's probably, I don't know, 5% that the public's allowed to see. And then other people like to go down there and explore on their own in the off-limits places. And people die there all the time because they get lost, because it's pitch black. It's like going caving in uncharted territories. And since it's illegal, they don't have like security patrols that go around all the time to check for people that are down there. That would be an awful job, wouldn't it? To be like a security guard, like a rent-a-cop, and your beat is just walking through a mass grave.
The catacombs? Yeah, fuck that.
That'd be awful. But yeah, so we will keep you posted on what happens with this mummy as the situation develops. Definitely a vampire. That's what
Dude,
Billy
like,
says.
think about it. They crack open that thing, and the vampire just awakes and then bites somebody, and then a whole like new strain of vampirism that hasn't been around since like the medieval times gets out, and then we have to deal with like primeval.
You say a new strain of vampires?
Yeah, I mean like a lost strain of vampirisms. Like they got rid of all the vampires, right? Hunting them, putting them in these lead coffins to make sure that they never get out and they're immortal, right? Then we open up this coffin, boom, vampire busts out, bites somebody. Then we got all these vampires running around again, and it's basically the plot to
Twilight.
A lot of movies.
yeah,
28 Days Later.
yeah,
Just you name it.
but not zombies, like vampires.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, vampires, and maybe there's part of the lore that I've not read up on. I don't know how anyone considers that scary at all.
Vamps?
Yeah, you get bitten and then you can't die. Sounds pretty good.
Well, then
You can't see the sun. Your testicles would shrink up.
That could be a problem, sure.
It's really like, I mean, if I'm diving, I'm already thinking with my Alex Jones editorial brain right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like the original vampires were rich, wealthy people that would feast on the blood of others. They're essentially,
Speaking of those kinds of people,
well, yeah, they're essentially like doing the thing where you drink baby blood to
Yeah.
stay healthy, like all the celebs do, like Tom Hanks.
and some celebrities and like famous celebrities that have lived for quite a long time, a very long time, many people actually think might be vampires. Take us to the current Queen of England, one of the oldest reigning monarchs. Is thought
I guess
to
we're
be
done riffing about
a
vampires.
huge vampire. No, this is one of the first.
No, Coley's right. That transition that's enough vampire talk, because in Billy's mind, he got to the bottom of the case already. So it's like,
Right,
we don't need to be
yeah.
discussing this. It's a new strain of vampire
Yeah,
that's going to come out and bite people, and then the Earth is going to
I thought we were trying to transition to the royal family and how they're vamps.
Tell you what, Billy, we can do that. But before we do, how's your credit?
My credit's actually sick nowadays.
Did you check it when you did your taxes?
No.
But your credit is sick.
Last time I checked, I'll check right now.
So if you're concerned about your credit, I would recommend checking out Credit Karma. If you're paying down old credit card debt, personal loan could be the solution to that. Loans usually come with fixed monthly payments, making them simple and a great way to help out paying off your credit card. Plus, loans usually have lower interest rates than credit cards do, and Credit Karma can help you find the best option for you. They use your credit data to find loan offers that are personalized to you so you can have a better idea of what loan amount you can get approved for. And Credit Karma will even show you chances of approval so you can choose between loan offers that you're more likely to get approved for. You can apply with confidence. Comparing loan offers on Credit Karma is 100% free. Best part of this is it won't affect your credit scores. A lot of times people are a little bit wary to run a credit check because sometimes when you pull your credit score dips. That can affect your rate offers on loans, but not with Credit Karma. It's 100% free. It will not affect your credit scores, and it could save you money. Credit Karma, you can apply with more confidence today when you go to creditkarma.com/loan offers to see personalized offers. That's creditkarma.com/loan offers. Okay, Billy, you were saying the Queen of England is a vampire.
Yeah. So
Allegedly.
one of the biggest sort of basically it all goes back to the Vikings and how the Vikings dominated most of Europe, and that all of the royals across Europe are all related. They're all coming from a certain number of early monarchs who lived in Denmark, Scandinavia, and basically all of their descendants are now the kings and queens of different countries in Europe. So with that, you have a lot of people who are related. And one of those people was thought to be Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler was supposed to be the source text of a lot of the Dracula franchises. Vladimir Dracula was a Hungarian king who's thought to like do terrible things. They call him Vlad the Impaler because he enjoyed to sharpen sticks and just impale people and watch them die. Really messed up guy. But anyway, they think that a lot of Vlad's practices were actually very commonplace amongst all the European kings and queens, and that they used their blood to live forever and stay young.
It's an all-time like metal name though. Vlad the Impaler is. If you're gonna get like an evil nickname, you could do a lot worse than that.
Yeah,
I think it's a combination of his natural name Vlad and then Impaler. If it was like Steve the Impaler, doesn't hit quite the same. Vlad the Impaler though, that's a name that you will remember. And when you're saying that the descendants are still members of royal families, you want to walk people through that a little bit?
Yeah. So let's pull up this other article.
So Billy is right. I'm interested to see where this goes, but he's right in the fact that European rulers used to all marry each other's families so that they could stay in power and there wouldn't be any new blood on the block. It's like, oh, we're not going to start a war with France because my sister-in-law is married to the king. It's like the McDonald's theory that we have about wars, where two countries with McDonald's don't fight wars against each other. It's kind of like you don't want to fight a war against your family necessarily.
Exactly. Basically, marriages were used for diplomacy. So to ensure good relations with a country, if you had a daughter or you had a son that needed to be married, it would provide a great way for two countries to get along. So because of this happening over so many years, you ended up with all these royals who intermarried, and they didn't have a great grasp of genetics at that time and what could happen if you were, marrying a first cousin or marrying a brother, or, turns out your uncle has a son and you could marry them, and just tons and tons of interbreeding amongst the royals in all of Europe. As many have said that the royals are their own ethnicity because they have no relation to the people that they govern, because they weren't. So, for example, Prince Philip was the Prince of Greece, who he just passed. He was married to the current Queen of England. He does not look Greek at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he's rather one of these relatives to this original lineage of royal blood that comes from Denmark. Let me give you a good piece of text that might explain what I'm trying to say better. While some of the current European monarchs are related to each other within a few generations, we have to go back a few hundred years to find the ancestor that all of them have in common. Johann Wilhelm Friso of Orange-Nassau, Prince of Orange, he and his wife, Landgravine Mary Louise of Hesse-Kassel, had two children, Princess Amalia and Wilhelm IV, Prince of Orange. It is through these two children that all the current reigning monarchs of Europe descend. So yeah. So let me tell you guys about these OGs. Johan. Yeah, Johan. Where the hell is Orange? Anyway, it's pretty crazy. I think Orange is somewhere. I think it's in the Netherlands.
That would
Let's
make
see.
sense.
Yeah. But it's crazy. Like literally, all of them are related, and it's thought that since they like have no connect, like they're all intermarried. They're like their own ethnicity. So like the Queen of England might not even really be English, and like the Queen of Belgium, like who's related to the Queen of England, and that whole royal family might not actually be Flemish. Like it's because they have zero relation, because they're all just intermarried from this original line.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a huge separation between the people they govern and they themselves, because they are not really like, from a ethno-nationalist standpoint, the same people.
Mm-hmm.
So like, which is hard to explain. But basically, this has spawned a huge conspiracy theory, which was pushed by David Icke. So David Icke was a former BBC presenter who is a huge conspiracy theorist, and he believes that the royal family is descended from, and all the royal families of Europe are descended from aliens who intermixed with royal bloods. And that's where this whole reptilian sort of stuff comes from, and that the reason they intermarry and everything is because they want to keep their bloodlines clean with other royals, and it's because their human ancestors made with reptilian aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, that's where that whole Alex Jones, George Bush is an alien, that all kind of stuff comes from. And that's connected to most of the presidents of the United States to be in some way or another related to certain British kings. Like there's that statistic where like something like 75% of US presidents are related to English monarch.
Okay.
Which is a whole nother discussion. But focusing on the royal family, that dates back to how the queen may be a vampire. And in that, they're saying that like there was a study that young mice, if you take young mice's blood and you give it older mice through blood transfusions, that it reverses aging in the old mice. So
Right.
This is a big one that falls into the same idea of a lot of QAnon stuff. And they say that the reason why the Queen of England has lived for so long is because she's getting transfusions from baby.
So don't people get? I'm pretty sure Mick Jagger and Keith Richards got blood transfusions too, because drugs were just like eating up their system. It's shocking. That's really the case for what you're talking about, is like the fact that Keith Richards is still alive.
Yeah.
There's something going on over in England. I don't know what it is.
Well, I think they're still performing.
They are. Mick Jagger's going out there. He's like cutting a rug. It's insane what he's doing at this age. That's more impressive to me than the Queen of England just like being alive.
Yeah.
And like having a tea party every 6 months. It's way more shocking to me that Mick Jagger and Keith Richards are still touring. So the royal family, just in general, I used to be anti-royal family. I used to not really understand it and feel like that's kind of weird that you guys still have a king and a queen that you all worship. I actually kind of see the use of the royal family, though, because the way it's been explained to me is that the royal family they're just mascots for the country, and they're in charge of all the like ceremonial stuff that we also expect our president to do, in addition to all the stuff that's like governing. It's kind of useful having a family that you'll be the soap opera, and then the people that are actually running the country, they can not worry about that sort of thing.
Well, the president is basically like, if you look at the powers the president actually has, so minimal. They've been a puppet since day one.
There you go. But it's also like, if you're a president, you're expected to go out and be like on the White House lawn for the Easter egg roll.
Yeah.
But really, you should just not really. We shouldn't be concerning ourselves with that. We should be running the country.
Well, I think the president never ran.
Oh, okay. Who did?
I think that's been well established.
That
Coastal elites.
Not coastal elites. Well, the reptilian shapeshifters who are related to the. No,
Correct.
I'm kidding. But like a general apparatus.
I feel like we should have. I'm not opposed to having a royal family if it means that those are the people that we focus all our weird attention on.
We do.
Kardashian.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah.
way cooler.
Yeah, they should. We should have a king and a queen.
Kim K.
Who
Queen
would
K.
you if
Oh,
we
no,
were just if we were just starting from scratch and you had to nominate someone to be king and or queen?
I think Chris is the queen.
Jenner
Yeah.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah,
of America?
she's the puppeteer.
I mean, she is.
She freed
She
OJ.
controls everything.
That Big T we're talking about in this, like no power, but as
Right. Yeah.
then I think it's. But I mean, when you nominate her, there is a chance she goes for real power.
Oh, for sure. That's why I love her as a queen. Like, she's that ruthless.
Okay.
She would take
All
the
right.
role very seriously. And then as far as king goes, I think that Coach O should be king of Louisiana.
You know what's crazy?
They should have a monarchy in Louisiana. That entire state should be governed.
This should be its own country.
Yeah, it's just
Oh.
That's our Wales.
yeah, it's Coach O and Mike the Tiger running the show down there together.
No, but you know what's crazy? Kris Jenner's related to the royal family.
There
Did
we
you
go.
know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the whole idea is that, like, hypothetically, this one bloodline is all in, like, the Illuminati, and they're all slightly have reptilian blood, and that's why all these high power people are related to the royal family. Like, Kris Jenner dates, like, Kris Jenner's family.
Now, who would be king?
Yeah.
That's the real interesting question.
They don't have a king.
Not yet, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But usually there was a king, right?
Well, he was
Definitely.
the prince, though, right? Oh, you're just saying further back.
Yeah, there have been kings. If there were to be a king right now in the United States, who were you looking at for that role?
Got to be Dwayne, right?
Yeah, The Rock
Rock?
is a natural one. Just Steve Austin too. Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Stone Cold and Chris. Is her name Kris Jenner or Kris Kardashian? I always
Jenner.
Kris Jenner.
Kris Jenner and Stone Cold Steve Austin would make a dynamic duo. Imagine that. Imagine people coming over for like official diplomatic visits, like Trudeau comes down here for some sort of economic summit, and Stone Cold just drives a beer truck up to his face and sprays him down and gives him the double birds. That's what we need. Maybe, you know what? If we really want to get into the puppet show, it should be Kris Jenner and then Vince McMahon. And then they have their own team, their own like royal apparatus around them, and they run everything.
If it's Kris Jenner and Vince McMahon, then the princess and the prince could be Steve Austin and Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
And make that, like, have the lineage be that.
Yeah.
Where it's the Jenner
Stone Cold's
Kardashian
a little
family.
old to be Prince.
But Prince Philip died, a prince.
Yeah. Have you seen princes these days?
Prince Philip was like dead for 3 years before he died.
Yeah. I mean, Prince could be the prince.
Yeah, so Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian's related to Scottish royalty
How?
through Prince Gregor, the younger brother of Kenneth MacAlpin, who was regarded as the first king of the Scots.
What's
Scottish
their,
royalty
what's their
feels a
relation?
bit
Yeah.
oxymoronic.
But I think the Scottish royalty is very intertwined. Current royalty.
Yeah. The Scottish leaders would
Yeah.
trade
Mhm.
title and land in
Yeah.
exchange for like pledging loyalty to the crown, which
Yeah.
is how, who was it? I don't want to get my names mixed up, but I haven't seen Braveheart in a while. I think it was Robert the Bruce.
Oh yeah, the guys who betrayed him.
Got bought off. Yeah.
Yeah, when they rolled up and they thought they were gonna help him, and they did.
Yeah, so
Damn.
I mean I'm open to hearing counter arguments against Vince McMahon and Kris Jenner being the king and queen of the United States, but I feel like that's a good couple right there.
I think that's
Goodell.
That would be the most boring king ever. He would suck.
no. Make him like the advisor. Like
The little suck up
Goodell,
advisor.
Goodell puts McMahon, as great as Vince is, the product isn't always the best. You can't say that about Goodell.
But I don't think Goodell has the personality.
Yeah, I want somebody that's like Goodell could be good behind the scenes.
Like, he could be the president of the United States, like, politically, with the hard work part.
He seems like a president. He just looks like a president.
Yeah.
He acts like a president.
he should have been a senator.
Just very boring.
Whoever's next to Kris Jenner, I think, is going to look boring.
Yep.
So you might as well get someone who's going to put forth a better product.
But that's why I think there's people in the background. That's where Roger Goodell falls.
Do you
in.
think Caitlyn Jenner's boring?
It's not really associated with them.
Wait, what are you talking about?
They could also, if it's Vince,
Kris Jenner.
Who's Caitlyn Jenner?
Caitlyn Jenner is the transgender woman who Kris Jenner Jenner used to be married to. That was
Yeah. So like he said, anybody next to Kris Jenner would be boring. I was like, Caitlyn Jenner's
Caitlyn
not
Jenner's
boring.
never
No.
been next to Kris Jenner. I don't know what you don't get.
Wait, what am I talking about? Isn't he on the show?
That's what
Aren't they
I'm
married?
asking.
I'm very confused.
they're divorced now.
I don't keep up
Right.
with this shit.
So
You don't
Ka-
keep up with the Kardashians.
Caitlyn Jenner was born Bruce Jenner,
Mhm.
and as Bruce Jenner competed in the Olympics, was like one of the best athletes in the world. Then he married Kris. Then he divorced. Then he transitioned to being Caitlyn Jenner,
Yeah.
and now she's running for governor of California.
I get what Billy's saying though.
Not
And
boring.
I believe
boring.
killed someone with her car.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
So I the only thing is, if it's Vince and Kris Jenner running the country, I feel like Kris Jenner would actually completely alpha Vince, and
Right.
that would blow up, and it would that would be great theater too.
But I also think that Queen Elizabeth alphaed Prince Philip.
Oh yeah. Well, Prince Philip wasn't a rightful heir to the throne.
Yeah, so
He was just lowly, like a Greek prince that like was not close enough to be incestual. But they're related.
They're all related.
Yeah.
all right. So let's talk about some of the modern conspiracies around the royal family. Aside from the fact that they're all related to vampires,
It was reptilian vampires.
what's the difference?
I'm not sure.
Probably the fangs.
I think the aliens and it's that they think that like aliens came down and like crossbred with humans or like early caveman humans to breed this. It goes back to like the Norse alien, the tall whites as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
Arian knows about that stuff.
One of my favorite royal family conspiracies is that Queen Elizabeth I, you know her as the Virgin Queen. She never married. I don't know if she fucked. She probably fucked.
Yep.
But they called her the Virgin Queen. There's a theory out there that she was actually a man.
Oh no, that's I didn't even want to talk about that one. It's
Okay.
misogynistic.
We can move on then.
But the vampires were all good.
Yeah, no, but that like they basically called her a man because she was a strong female leader.
Well, I mean, that goes into it a little bit. I think it's more the fact that she never married. But there's a theory that because when she was a child, she was kind of exiled because the plague was sweeping through, and they didn't want her to catch the plague because she was going to be the queen one day. So they exiled her to a town in the countryside, and the theory is that she died out there from the plague. But at the time, the governess that ran that area and was in charge of keeping her safe, the theory is that she saw Queen Elizabeth die, and she was like, oh, fuck, if this person dies on my watch, the king's going to kill me. Because who was the king at that point? But he had killed numerous wives.
Oh, was
That
that
he had.
Henry VIII?
I know Henry VIII had like 8 wives.
Yeah, because no, I think let me check that out. It's so freaking confusing.
Yeah, it was Henry VIII.
Yeah.
It was. So this person didn't want to be killed by Henry VIII, so they just found a boy that had like the same color hair, and then said that this was the queen.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Edward.
But Billy's already
Huh.
debunked that one.
Well, no, because it's like it was one. It's I always hear that it's the first like misogynistic. Like
She was such a
template.
girl boss that they had to
Yeah,
be
they're
like,
like,
oh, she
"That's
was
a
actually a
dude."
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but another one is we'll get to Princess Diana. We touched upon it once on the show before, but it's a big one. But here's a funny one. That Meghan Markle is a political ploy for the English royal family to take over American
No,
politics.
that's
once again.
100% true.
Oh, it is.
Maybe not to take over politics, but popular culture for sure.
Mhm.
Can I go on a rant real quick?
Go for it.
Go off.
I fucking despise more than I don't even hate them. Americans who care about the royal family, I hate you.
Go off.
Despise you. We fought a war so that we didn't have to do this to
Mhm.
care about and they're not interesting in the slightest, in my opinion. Maybe when they were like getting killed and shit, that was kind of interesting. But now there's really nothing interesting about them. So this guy marries an F-list American actress, and everybody's like, "Oh, so intriguing." No, it's not. I hate them, and I hate even more people who care about them.
Okay.
Sickening.
It's sickening.
That's tough for me.
America first.
Yeah. So Mad Dog, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you do care about the royal family and the drama.
Look, I don't Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like when Kate Middleton and Prince William got engaged, like that was one of the coolest days of my young adolescence.
So why was that? Why was that so cool? Because it's like a
Because she was a
storybook
normal
thing?
woman. She was a normal girl who happened to like literally find her Prince Charming in college. Like, how fucking cool is that?
Lifetime cranks out 400 of these movies a year.
Exactly, but it's real life, and I think
Is it?
in my
It's a
brain,
Cinderella story.
Yeah.
So Big T, you were so mad on the day of the royal wedding when everybody got up early
Oh,
yeah.
to
I
tweet
was
about it. Girls were buying
disgusted.
hats and stuff.
I woke up
Disgusting.
like again when Kate and Will's wedding. I did wake up.
So did you buy? Was it a fascinet?
No, I didn't buy a hat. I was like 11. We were like 11 or 12, so it was like young enough where I was like kind of still into that kind of stuff. But then again, to counter that, I also was really into when Meghan and Harry got married. I just think there's something cool about those two couples specifically. A normal, non-royal person being brought in. Obviously, we see with Meghan a different story, but being brought into this whole entire new environment. Like Kate grew up, like Prince William was, everywhere. And then all of a sudden she like finds him at University of St. Andrews. Like I think that's like the best story ever.
How many women at University of St. Andrews, like when what's his name, what's his name?
William.
Prince William. When Prince William would walk into a room, would be like, "Now's my chance."
Literally.
to become a princess.
Literally, and Kate is gorgeous and seems like a great person. Like she won the game of life, kinda, and she not only married the future king of England, her children are the future. Like I think kings and
princesses.
kings and queens of England.
Who's the little? Is it Edward, the new guy?
Louis, Charlotte and I have the same birthday. Louis, Charlotte, and there's another.
Big T's gonna punch a wall.
I know.
You see, I look at
I
people
just don't get
who
it,
follow
man.
the royal family as like Americans who follow Premier League soccer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like I don't like we have enough stuff that you like we have American football. I
Yeah,
think
but
is a
like
much
if you
better
like
product.
soccer, that's the best league in the world. We have pop culture here that's infinitely better
Yeah.
than
But-
anything in England.
Good point.
But
Yeah.
also, like, there's a thing, and I think it's one of those, like, the grass is greener thing where the Queen of England doesn't affect me. She's not my queen,
Mhm.
like Prince
It's
William.
not sounding that way.
Okay, Matt.
I don't like Queen Elizabeth. I have, like, no really, like, here nor there opinion on. But, like, they are separate from me with, like, the, like, Trump family and the Bidens, yada, yada, yada. There's, like, so many sides in American politics. There, I can kind of look at it through a lens where they don't affect me. It's
Yeah.
almost like TV. Like nothing
a
they
soap
do.
opera.
Yeah, nothing they do really changes
Okay.
my day to day.
Hypothetical.
Yes.
Mad Dog.
Mhm.
Go to St. Andrews.
Okay.
Meet a prince.
Done.
You get heavily involved with the prince. You're
Got it.
married.
Got it.
Go through the marriage ceremony, whatever.
So I'm Princess Kate.
You become a princess, and then you realize that you have to participate in vampire rituals and do fucked up shit.
Okay.
You in or you out?
Do I find out after I'm married?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't tell you the book
don't
of
tell me.
secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you get in. You have the
Am I the
next in
vamp?
line,
Uh-huh.
and then you have to start drinking blood and like killing kids and stuff.
Okay.
I don't like the bad rap Billy is giving to vampires right now. They don't
Well-
exclusively kill children.
No, but like this type of vampirism. I believe
Queen
British.
Elizabeth does.
The British vampires.
the vampires who do it like they don't actually need the blood. Like the vampires who need the blood, like like some of them,
superfluous blood.
yeah, they like hit up blood banks.
Um,
Like they like sustainably harvested blood. They're like the vegans of the vampires.
mhm.
They're ashamed of what they do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
These vampires we're talking about, they're just trying to live long,
Bloodthirsty.
like maintain power,
Yeah.
just oppress people,
Yeah.
kidnap children.
I think at that point, I would morally like to think that I would get out and I would ask for a divorce. I would go
You
princess.
divorce?
Well,
I
no,
would
the,
think-
the options
would
are
kill
you
you.
get killed.
Oh, I get
or
killed
you
or I'm
become
in?
a vampire.
No,
shit,
and
then I'd
that is
be
what
in.
and that's what people think happened to Princess Diana.
Well, because I would like to have a character arc like Princess Diana.
And die.
I don't know.
Well,
if
Yeah.
I
you have
don't want her to
full arc.
die, like personality wise, not the death part.
So you just want to be a princess.
Yeah, but like everyone liked her,
It would be cool to just.
and she had like a cool like
Not
fashion
everyone.
sense. Well, besides Queen Elizabeth.
I could understand from a woman's perspective. Like you grow up, you see fairy tales, you
Mhm.
you watch movies about a prince and princess, and then one day it's like, oh shit, you
This
are
is my
going
real
to
life.
be the princess.
And they have these beautiful weddings in Westminster Abbey.
Does it matter what the prince looks like? Because I feel like William was
hot.
Was he?
Yes, he was formerly hot.
He needs some hair plugs.
He needs hair plugs now.
Like, you can afford them.
When Kate met him at St. Andrews, he was cute then.
Mhm.
Harry, I still think continues to be attractive.
If
Well,
you're
Harry-
a prince and you get hair plugs, that's you abdicating the throne.
Yeah, you gotta
You're a
go
coward.
bald. Yeah, you
You're
gotta
a
shave
coward.
it.
Yeah, but also, I mean, like at a certain point, he's a fucking prince.
Yeah,
Like,
he is in front of the camera a lot.
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, at a certain point, like looks aren't as important because he's a prince.
So he was
All the women's rights movements of the last
I'm
100 years
taking back-
undone by
I'm
Mad
taking
Dog.
back-
Well,
Matt-
Matt.
No, I'm saying looks don't matter.
as long as you're a prince.
Yeah,
Yeah, as long
yeah,
as you never have to lift a finger again. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you would also be written about in the tabloids every day.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't go anywhere without getting your pictures taken. You have to probably help clean all the shit from the corgis up that the queen has running around.
Yeah, but I think Kate, again, Meghan got a really bad rap. I think Kate gets a pretty good rap.
She's elegant.
Very elegant. I think I could play. I don't know. I don't do a really good job
I
of
have a-
being a lady like that.
I have a feeling. So
I don't think
You get shit on by animals like 3 times a year.
that's true. That is
They would
true.
have a field day with that. So when Big T says that the whole Meghan Markle thing was a way for the royal family to gain a foothold in the United States, Big T, I'm going to push back on that just a little bit. Couldn't you think about the complete other way around and say that Meghan Markle is actually our way of infiltrating the British royal family and taking from them the very last thing that they have that's all British?
Who in the American government do you think called up Queen Elizabeth, was like, hey, can you get your grandson to marry this actress who was in like one episode of Suits for us?
She was in every episode of Suits.
I don't know, you couldn't pay me to watch something she was in, but to just like really get y'all going over here, like we're really interested in that.
Maybe she's just a covert agent herself, and they've been raising people. The CIA has been raising children that they identify that have engaging personalities, and then they raised her to become an actress. They gave her first-class beauty treatments along the way to ensure that she would be attractive, and knowing that she's got all the training in place necessary to seduce a possible Prince of England. And then they're like, okay, she's the best opportunity that we have. Go do your weird magic. And then she just seduced him.
So
And what channel was Suits on, PFT? USA.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Quick. Let me just say the ploy, the point of the ploy, is to make sure that Harry would marry someone from the U.S. so that their kids were eligible to become president one day. So then the British monarchy could have power over America.
Also,
again.
they did move to our shores.
I was going to say, they'd
Yeah.
still have to be born here.
But it also, she
They live in like Canada, right?
she
No, they live
fulfilled
in
Yeah.
L.A.
she fulfilled
Oh,
her
really?
mission
Yeah.
tremendously. Like, this mission was a resounding success. If you're looking at it from the U.S. perspective, she seduced him. They get married. She becomes a part of the royal family, and then she convinces him to walk
leave.
away from the family and abdicate all his royal responsibilities, and then move back to the United
I
States.
think
We
that
like
had to do with the blood suck.
you think
The blood.
You
stuff.
think she saw the blood sucking and was like, "You're either in or you're out with me"?
Yeah, but I don't
I think it was the overt racism, not
That too.
necessarily the blood sucking.
I gotta say, Meghan Markle has one of the most symmetrical faces I've ever seen. That's like one of like great like because
She's
Pretty good.
gorgeous.
I was looking at a picture of her doing research for this, and I was like, she looks like fake, and I was like, wait a second, like she has an insanely symmetrical face.
that's as close as Billy will ever come to be like, that chick's hot.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a very analytical way of being like, proportionally, her face is completely in line with my idea of like necessary requirements to breed.
The face.
Do you think it would have been a different situation if Meghan wasn't, or whoever Harry married was American but not famous? Like if somehow
she
he bumped
wasn't
in.
famous.
Again, yeah, I
But she
do
was
agree
still-
with Big T. Suits was a fine show. Fame is where I draw all.
I
Fame.
had
Okay.
never heard of her once.
Okay, then let's consider a public figure. She was still some sort of notoriety,
Let's
like
say it was Kim.
Kardashian.
Yeah.
Oh.
If it was Kim, what would the outcry be there? I think we would be like, yeah, we got like.
Sex tape?
No, I think it would just be Kim Kardashian has infiltrated the royal family.
True. I think
Or would the royal families be infiltrating the Kardashians, which
I
has
think-
more power?
I think that this was definitely the Kardashians. I think that this was a big time coup for the United States, good old US of A.
yeah.
That Meghan Markle married into the royal family and then took away one of their princes.
I'm just gonna say we don't know. Another thing is Harry might not be Charles's son.
Very, very true.
So he might not be a vampire.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which would
He's just a redhead.
yeah,
They-
he's just a ginger bastard.
So they stumbled their way into the vampire lair, found out what was going on. They're like, we got to go.
They're like,
Mhm.
oh yeah. What did Harry used to say? He used to be like, "Mummy." Oh no, Mummy's drinking blood again.
So
That's a good British accent.
there was also a conspiracy about Kate that she used a surrogate for her child,
Mm.
and that
She bounced back quite quickly.
and that her baby bump was never big enough to be
Interesting.
actually pregnant. I tend to think that that's just like the British tabloids. If they take pictures of you all the time
Yeah.
from every angle, they
In-
can make anything.
There's a lot of
seem-
content.
In my head, all of the British tabloids are like National Enquirer level.
Yep.
yeah.
They don't reach much.
But I still think that there's something useful about having a royal family, because we don't talk at all about real British politics. We just talk about.
Boris Johnson gets swept under the rug.
He does.
Boris Johnson.
That guy's
He's
hilarious.
fucking hilarious.
So Big T, you don't like any of the royal family. You don't have any takes on what happened to Diana?
Well, those are two different questions. I find all of them now wholly unentertaining and remnants of a country for which I do not care. And
So if they were more entertaining, you could see yourself in.
no. I don't like them. I don't care about them, but I don't see why people care about them. There's nothing about them that's entertaining.
What
really.
about the fact that the Queen?
Now? But as I said,
Mhm.
25 years ago when they were killing people, possibly, I could see why some people would be interested.
Mm-hmm.
I think Harry, honestly, I think is kind of hilarious. Like from some of his
Yeah.
old antics. So I mean, not all of his old antics, but like there's videos of him like seemingly prank calling the Queen, pretending that he's like, "Hey, mommy, how the corgis?"
Like he's not
Like,
like
when he was in the army,
quote,
it was
unquote,
hilarious.
normal.
Yeah, and there's some videos of him in the army where he's getting interviewed,
Yeah,
or was in the Air Force. I think he might have been the Royal Air Force,
yeah.
and he's being interviewed for I don't know some show, some news show, and he just like gets up in the middle of the interview because there's an alarm going off. He's
Oh,
like, "Oh,
yeah,
I
I
have to
know
go
that
do my
video.
job." He
Yeah.
just like sprints away. He does seem like a more normal person.
Well,
Yeah.
also he has no pressure.
Yeah, it's true.
He literally gets all of the perks of being a royal member of the but he's never gonna be king.
He's like a backup quarterback.
But
Yeah.
not even backup. If
Like a
anything,
guy that is not. He's Chase Daniel.
he's like a third
never going to
string.
get into the game.
Yeah, he's
and he's going to collect a sick paycheck for
Yep.
a long time.
Mhm.
And all he has to do is just stand there with a clipboard.
And he gets to marry a hot chick.
Yeah,
he did his podcast ever come out?
he had a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
podcast.
he had a huge podcast deal with Meghan Markle on
I-
Spotify, and
I-
they never.
What a dweeb.
I wish I could have bet the under on how many episodes that was going to last.
Let's see.
That's the ultimate example of the podcast bubble where they were just throwing money at anybody that had like a decent sized name, giving them a podcast and be like, people will listen to this even though they don't.
Bro, I listened.
And then like you think that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are going to give a shit about like sitting down and doing their ad reads and making sure that they hit the exact right promo code. Listen, being a
Where it's
podcaster, it seems very
Bro.
glamorous at times, and it is. But listen,
So they
they're not built for the
Harry-
content game.
so they do have a
Harry
podcast.
being like, don't you hate when you're trying to mail something, you can't find a stamp? Well, listen to
They do have a podcast, and they have an intro episode,
Yep.
a holiday special. So the intro episode came out in December 2020.
yeah, just
The holiday special also came out in December 2020. And 3 weeks ago, March 24th, was a 1-minute episode about archetypes.
what the fuck?
Wait, we got to listen to this episode.
Are we gonna listen to it on air?
Yeah,
It's
let's
called
listen to it.
Archewell Audio.
I'm gonna be honest. I listened to Bruce Springsteen and Obama's
How was that?
podcast. I mean,
Was that a cash grab?
I don't know. It was like it was decent, but it wasn't like I don't even know.
I've only heard terrible things about that podcast.
Okay,
And I've heard-
it's not like it was pretty fucking trash. Like honestly, it was kind of big. Like I don't know. It was one of those things. Meanwhile, Mike Tyson on Joe Rogan recently, fucking amazing podcast, bro. Like literally, like one of the sick. Like, dude, I literally was listening to it like the past 3 days. It is insane. It's awesome.
This is where Billy's brain is just completely broken. Mike Tyson did a podcast on our fucking network that was really good. Talk about the biggest one in the world, not the $1 million worth of game one.
Oh.
All right, here we
Did
go.
they talk about 6 foot tall, 300-pound lion killing chimpanzees?
You're gonna have to
Did not.
listen.
All right, here is archetypes in this groundbreaking new podcast. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Does she still get to use that name?
That's the crazy part.
She's just Yeah, I kind of like that. It's like you can try to take it away. I can still call myself whatever I want. All right, here is the podcast.
I don't think Harry had to give up his land.
She's a slut. People think I should be quiet and submissive.
And a little emotionally unstable.
You have the word skanky in America?
We do have that word.
I was waiting for you to smile at some of the compliments. You didn't.
They are weaker, smaller, they are less intelligent.
This is how we talk about women. The words that raise our girls, and how the media reflects women back to us.
Hey, what?
But where do these stereotypes come from? And how do they keep showing up and defining our lives? I'm Meghan, and this is Archetypes, the podcast where we dissect, explore, and subvert the labels that try to hold women back. I'll have conversations with women who know
it's an
all too
intro.
well how these
An intro for a
typecasts
new
shape our
podcast?
narratives. And I'll talk to historians to understand how we even got here in the first place. Archetypes, coming soon. Listen only on Spotify.
I like that.
Listen.
The coming soon.
For all y'all, we're talking about conspiracies about American politics and the royal family, whatever. She just needed a job. She just needed to be famous.
Huh.
Wasn't he like schmoozing? Was it Bob Iger or somebody that was like, hey, like Disney
Oh,
Plus,
yeah.
I know y'all
Mhm.
need like shows. Like my wife's an actress.
No, she can do voiceovers, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
That
was.
was yeah.
She kicked Harry off their non-existent podcast to put a new placeholder for another podcast that also doesn't have any episodes.
She was like, you know what? I'm the star of this show. I need my own podcast. The Meghan Hour. It'd be funny if she called it like Meghan Making Money. And it was just about marrying into a royal family and then convincing your husband to leave
Listen,
him.
that'll put asses in seats. Archetypes? No, thank you. Hard pass.
Why don't you do a podcast on how the Queen Mother drinks blood?
Yeah.
Boom.
Get into the crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about weird uncle what's his face?
Andrew?
Yeah, weird Uncle Andrew.
Mm-hmm. That's the holiday episode. Everyone's got that weird
Look.
uncle that sits down at the holiday
We got a
table.
weird uncle.
He's always got a new date. You're not sure if they're
He always-
someone he adopted or
Always brings around his weird buddy. Always flying around with him. We don't know if they're dating.
Manscaped.
Yeah.
I also don't get okay, so Harry leaves the royal family. Like, does he have like a bank account?
Yeah.
But like, where does
he?
his money come from? Does he just have like a lump sum of money?
Same place where Ovechkin's money comes from.
I would imagine hard work.
NHL?
I would imagine that that when they left, I have no evidence of any of this, but I'm sure there was some sort of NDA that was signed,
Right.
and that probably came with like a severance fee.
Really?
So they probably got paid a little bit of money.
I have a feeling there's definitely investments that are being handled by a bunch of financiers that like he's probably living off of like $300K a year just in interest of like
That's it. you
very
think?
low stake finances that like that's just like what like when a baby's born, I feel like there's all these baby shower gifts given to royal babies and then you just get like a bunch of wealth from all your royal relatives.
You probably have. Well, you were definitely given a share of like the crown jewels, but I don't know if he got to leave with any of those. He should have negotiated for his severance. Been like, I'd like 20% of the swans in the world, because every queen, the monarch
Yeah.
of England, the queen owns every mute swan
Mhm.
Yeah.
in the world.
I'm pretty sure like all those stamps, a lot of the English product have like royal stamp. Like forget what the actual, basically just like the Queen's sort of stamp of approval.
Yeah, the wax, the seal.
Yeah, and
Oh, that's what it is.
I think like that is probably a premium. That's probably one of those easiest things they license their name to do.
Mhm.
And plus, there's probably tourism, proceeds from like it's such a huge tourist. Like for example, people visiting Buckingham Palace, people visiting
But that's like free.
Windsor Tower. No, they charge because someone's got to pay for the actual guards, pay for like the tourism
Don't they-
generated.
Don't they make all their money off taxes?
No, the
Taxes funded the royal family.
taxes funded the tourism business around the royal family. So they are an investment, their existence in the whole, like, for example, the Empire State Building. Like we have tons of people visiting the Empire State Building, go to the top of it. Like that does generate income. But I'll look up the specifics, but there's definitely generational wealth from the royal family. They come from money.
They do need to make money though for the rest. I don't think that they can just coast. I don't know the specifics of their NDA and how much money they were given.
That's what I'm like. Is Harry gonna have to go find the job or something?
They're gonna do like tours of Walmart, like Nick Saban does with the championship trophy, where it's like, come get your picture taken,
literally,
with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Actually, I mean, this is,
guys, you gotta think.
Brain's going to a weird place here, but if they really were falling on hard times, imagine the fee that you could set up, like if Prince Harry were to become a gigolo, and be like, hey,
stud fee.
Yeah, like Prince Harry and Meghan will show up at your significant other's house or bachelorette party, and they will get down with you.
What?
Probably like $500,000, right, per session.
That's what your brain goes
to have Prince Harry and Meghan Markle show up and fuck you.
There's people who like come from money who don't work at all.
Right.
And that's like
I'm
royal.
Sorry for throwing a business idea.
That's not royal family money either. Like there's people who like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what is royal family money? Like, how much?
Yeah, how much
royal
is
family
the royal,
worth?
Let's look that up. How much is
Forbes in 2011 said roughly 500 mil. Other estimates are much lower.
This says roughly as for the monarchy as a whole, they say $88 billion.
Okay.
So you could literally give Harry.
That probably includes like the real estate that they live in.
Yeah, that's not in like an
that they
account.
own, but you can't really sell that.
Right, but if we're gonna get into this part of a conspiracy, they refinance all those properties. And when you refi those properties, you can get lump sums of cash.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes us to the biggest royal financiers of the royal family. And those are the interconnection with many of the banking families across Europe, which people also think are basically the royal families are just puppets of them. That gets a little problematic.
Okay. Talk to me about the financiers. Actually, can I call a timeout? Billy, while I take my time out to go pee, I'm going to try to make it back by the time you're done with this ad read. Talk to these people about BetterHelp.
As someone who has to deal with lots of huge characters all day and, a lot of big personalities that sometimes can be a little aggravating and stressful, I found that BetterHelp is a huge influence on just making me feel better and just sort of having some place to really vent about a lot of the stuff I experience day to day. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. Give it a try and see if online therapy can help lower your stress. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Macrodosing listeners get 10% off their first month of BetterHelp.com/dope. That's BetterHelp.com/dose. 10% off their first month.
Perfect timing, Billy. Great job. How'd he do?
It was just...
He made it.
We do love BetterHelp. Go check him out right now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to use a camera if you don't want to. You can talk to somebody over the phone. You can talk to them on the internet via chat. BetterHelp.com/dose. Perfect. All right. So, Billy, this is going to be an interesting challenge because Billy is also afraid of being problematic with this segment. He was telling me about it earlier because there's a lot of anti-Semitic like theories that go around with the banking family. So I'm going to see if Billy can pull this off and watch him struggle.
We're probably going to do a whole episode on all of that type of stuff. It's a huge conspiracy, but basically intertwined throughout the history of the royal family, there was the Rothschild, who were the biggest financiers of many countries and many of the different royal families across Europe. They've been accused many times of being war profiteers because they basically finance both sides of wars. Allegedly, it's very a weird dynamic, but basically there is a conspiracy that the Rothschilds hold the breeding rights of the royal family, which is a total weird conspiracy because, like, basically, like the hypothetical scenario that PFT was talking about of giving Harry a stud fee, they think that they may like own the royal families and use them to basically produce capital across Europe by causing wars, marrying off, different types of stuff. It's a whole weird thing, but that could also be this like source of, you know, owning a royal is sort of a huge asset that you can make a lot of money off if you think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a conspiracy that is often pushed.
So they would finance both sides of wars to ensure that they just make money off no matter what.
Right.
That still happens to this day.
Yeah.
Whenever, I mean, look up what happened with the Bush family
Yeah.
back in the mid
And
20th century.
they think the Bush family's connected to the English royal family in a whole different thing. We're gonna take it would need a whole episode to sort of explain the whole dynamic, but basically it all stems from a one of probably the first instances of fake news. The printing press got invented, Gutenberg and all that, and basically a pamphlet was distributed across Europe describing how I think it's Nathaniel Rothschild basically was at the Battle of Waterloo and watched to see the result of the war and immediately ran back to England. And before the official news of the French defeat at Waterloo, we were able to make several investments to profit off of knowing before anyone else. But that's highly disputed because there was also parts of the story, such as a huge storm over the English Channel, that he sort of avoided and paid a fisherman to get him to England through. And that's why he got back to London before the rest of the news did.
Okay.
So it's a whole weird, very weird conspiracy that sort of like basically ties into a lot of the stuff QAnon spouts now, and you know, this idea of like, you know, there's even relations Epstein, all sorts of stuff.
I do think that if you're the most powerful family in the world, you probably get a heads up if something's about to happen where your family members might be killed. I think that's probably fair.
Unless they're the ones doing it.
Unless they're the ones doing it. Good point. So, on that note, you want to talk a little Princess Di?
Yeah, Princess died.
That's very good, Billy.
Sorry.
Can we put in like a drum sound effect?
That actually was good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, if you were Jay Leno's writer in '97, you getting a promotion for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Eubanks. Big T, do your Kevin Eubanks impression.
Kevin Eubanks.
Who the hell's that?
He was the
Was
guitar
he-
player.
Oh, the bald guy.
Yeah, that would always laugh at the jokes.
I know who he is.
All right, so let's do that again. Billy?
You say.
So, let's talk about Princess Di.
Princess died.
That's perfect. All right, so yeah, this is I mean it's a tragic story what happened to Princess Diana. So she was married to Prince Charles, and they were getting a divorce. And there's a lot of theories about why she was getting a divorce. The cheating, the adultery of Prince Charles is one. Now, is there anything romantic at all? And Mad Dog, I'm asking more in your direction on this because you're so smitten with the idea of like a woman meeting a prince and becoming a princess.
Not Camilla, though.
Yeah. So is there anything romantic at all if it's the Prince of England and you know, everybody knows that he's married and then you see him and he starts flirting with you?
That is not romantic.
You would not want to become the royal mistress.
Well, no, I wouldn't want to be the royal mistress. I want to be a princess.
Okay.
But the thing is with them is basically Charles and Camilla were a couple before Di was even in the picture. And Queen Elizabeth, it was said, didn't approve of Camilla to enter the family. Here comes Princess Di, but Charles was still in love with Camilla the whole time. So Charles and Camilla were like one straight line, and then like Di came in and like interjected it.
So
You know what I mean?
Sounds like you're Team Charles on this.
No, I am not at all. I think
Love will find a way.
No, I think Prince Charles is a bad person, but that's where the mistress versus Princess Di comes in, because Camilla and Charles wanted to get married, and Princess Di was more of like you can't have Camilla, but you can have Diana.
Hang on, I don't know who Camilla is. This guy was married before.
No, so Prince Charles is the Prince of England, who is Queen Elizabeth's son. He was married to Princess Diana.
Right.
He had an affair throughout their entire marriage, before, during, after, with this woman named Camilla.
Got it.
When Princess Diana and Prince Charles got divorced, that is who Prince Charles is now currently married to, is Camilla.
Got it.
He went back to her. I would almost say like
Mhm.
that is kind of romantic.
But Camilla, again, like if you're part of the royal family and you're Prince Charles and you are heir to the throne, you cannot be doing that.
Well, Diana may have also, Princess Charles may hypothetically, like, this is another rumor, he might be sterile, and William and Harry are not his kids.
Well, it's more rumored that Harry
might be the bodyguard's son.
The bodyguard or the polo instructor, but that's less believable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I can not kind of see. Again, Princess Di, may she rest in peace.
Mary Queen of Scots might have been Ginger. They talk about Mary Queen of Scots.
I think she's depicted as one.
Yeah, so like Gingers in the royal family is
not
that far
uncommon.
off, yeah.
Also, they're all English, and I feel like that.
Well, they're technically like Danish. Dutch. Danish.
Really?
Yeah, because the Prince of Orange.
Oh, like what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Princess Di got the shortest end of
Yeah, the
any stick
Netherlands.
ever.
My favorite conspiracy with Princess Diana and Prince Charles is that she had a secret baby. That
Oh, I don't
nobody
know about this one.
An off the books baby.
How?
The royal baby Sarah is what they call her. She was undergoing fertility tests, and they took some of her eggs, and the theory is that somebody like stole one of the eggs, and then had it implanted in his wife's uterus.
Oh, so it wasn't like Princess Diana was pregnant.
Correct.
Oh,
I
that's
saw
weird.
this same rumor about Kate.
Middleton.
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea that she wasn't ever carrying the baby because
Yeah.
she didn't have a big enough bump. But yeah, it's probably not true, but it is fun to think about.
Yeah,
In like a storybook sense, like there's somebody growing up that doesn't know that they're royalty.
royal. Yeah.
And they get told on their like 18th birthday, guess what?
Hey, you're royal.
You're royal. But that's one that's probably not true, but it's still fun to think about.
No.
There's also the whole notion around Diana's death, which is that it was staged in some way or it was planned in some way, because this is true. She did write a letter saying that she felt like she was in danger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that they were planning an accident in her car,
Mhm.
brake failure, and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for Charles to marry again.
Mhm.
And there was also a rumor that she was carrying her new boyfriend's baby,
Dodi
An Egyptian.
Dodi Fayed, yeah. And that one to me is one that I think if you talk to a lot of people that paid attention to the royal family, there are a lot of people out there that believe that Diana's death
Yeah.
was orchestrated.
So the thing is
Yeah.
about Philip, if we remember, Philip was the Prince of Greece. And historically, the Greeks and Egyptians really don't like each other. So this idea that Diana's having a relationship with this Egyptian who would then become the stepfather to Prince Philip's grandsons was too much for Prince Philip. And that was one of the other reasons why they think that Prince Philip and the family might have had her killed.
Do you think Prince Philip had that much say, though?
Because wasn't he looked upon as being like a black sheep after the affair?
No, that's Charles.
Or Charles, sorry.
No.
Did Prince Philip have that much say?
Yeah, because like he would like the queen obviously was the queen and he was obviously a prince.
I know, but like the thing is, the queen might have
I guess if
agreed
it's his
with
husband
him.
though, or her husband.
Yeah, the queen might have agreed with him.
That's true. I think the queen I don't think ever really liked Diana.
Yeah, Diana was looked upon as being like more of a common person,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She didn't enjoy the trappings of royalty as much as some of them do.
No. And I don't think she went along with everything like in previous relationships. She wasn't just a bystander.
Well, what Diana would do would be she would go to all the different countries that the British crown had like historically suppressed and caused bad things to happen, and she would go like trying to help them out, which would in turn put like a spotlight on the history of England and all the fucked up things that they've done in the past. I don't think that the royal family liked that much.
Or she was really vocal about the AIDS epidemic. Like she was like one of the first public figures to like touch a person with AIDS.
She was anti-landmine too. Started landmine awareness, which I think we can all get behind. Anybody out there, any fans of landmines?
No.
Not actively, no.
Not actively.
Actually,
At one point.
Actually,
in your pre-woke period, you were a big fan.
Actually, there are some like Ukrainians right now who are very pro landmine. That's how they've been stopping tank rolling it. That's what's been stopping the convoys.
Well, there's anti-tank mines, which I've learned are different than
than
anti-personnel mines. Yeah, so you can step on a tank mine.
I'm anti-personnel mine.
Okay.
So I'm pro personnel.
I'm pro Ukraine.
I'm pro people.
The landmines are the ultimate like future me problem thing that countries have implemented, where it's like, you know what, we really need to win this war now. Let's not think about the next 50
you guys,
years.
I wrote a blog about it. They got these rats that they come from Africa. They're called like New Guinea rats, and they're like these gigantic rats, and they've trained them to find landmines.
Yeah.
And they've been doing really well. So they can detect the landmine. They just let them out in the landmine fields. They're too light to set off the mines. So they're not just sending rats out to get blown up. The rats find the mines, and then people come over to dig them out, take them out safely.
How do you dig out a landmine without it going off?
You dig around it,
and then like under enough.
it. Yeah.
I'm anti-landmine with the very small exception of I do enjoy in movies when there's like somebody running through the woods and they step on a landmine, they hear it click, and they don't lift their foot up, and then they try to figure out what to do. It's really just that movie Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson when he crashes a plane. Great movie. All time.
Is it a serious movie?
Yeah, all-time Eastern European tracksuit guy is the main bad guy in that movie. He's like a special forces dude. So it probably takes place somewhere in Ukraine. It's definitely Eastern Europe over there.
And I've never seen Owen Wilson in a serious role.
Yeah, that was kind of shocking. He played a pilot that got down behind enemy lines and was like, "Oh, I guess I'm taking Owen Wilson seriously for 2 hours." But it did have one of those landmine scenes in it. But with that exception, I am anti-landmine.
Yeah. No, but I think Princess Di stood up for a lot of things that, like you said, PFT, like that the royal family had done wrong in the past. And then her and Dodi are spotted out and about.
Yep.
I mean, they do blame it on the driver being a drunk.
Yeah.
The driver in the tunnel. But I mean,
which at the very least, it seems like the royal family should do some more
thorough background checks.
Yeah. You'd think the royal family would have some pretty vetted drivers.
He was being chased by paparazzi.
But
if you wanted to,
that's every time he drove.
He was also drunk, allegedly at the time.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I mean, but the thing is, if you wanted to kill Princess Di, you fuck up something with the engine, throw a drunk guy in the front seat,
and throw paparazzi.
Yeah.
She would be chased by the paparazzi no matter what.
Exactly. So that part's already done.
Yeah.
Make sure the thing goes off in the tunnel where no one can see it, including the.
Like, it's pretty easy for your mind to get there.
And the British press in general, they're kind of fucked up. They're like big time vultures. They were taking pictures of her as she was dying.
Right.
Instead of trying to administer first aid or call for help.
Well, and wasn't there a thing where if she had gotten to the hospital sooner or something, they could have saved her? Like, if they would have done something different, she could have been saved?
I think people speculate about that. It's a possibility. Because they were just trying to get the shot.
That's so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether the conspiracies around Diana are true, but there's some things that point to it potentially being a fit there. I don't know. Coley, what are your thoughts on that?
On her being potentially saved?
No, on her just like her entire death.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, what year was it again?
97.
97 because Elton
Yeah,
John
okay.
Candle in the Wind remix.
Right. Yeah. I feel like that's what I remember most was Elton. That was really Elton John's time to shine.
Yeah. How mad was Bono when Elton got around to doing a song for her first? I feel like Bono was probably like in the lab trying to get the third verse down. Didn't have it done. Elton came out with his remix. He's like, fuck that asshole.
So there was a white Fiat Uno, and James Adanson. So James Adanson was either a photographer or someone. The series that he was with MI6 as a means to swerve and thereby get the Mercedes to swerve into the side of the tunnel. And then the guy who was driving it killed himself in May 2000.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his body was found in a black burnt-out BMW in a forest near the town of Nance, near Milan. Now, was he... Yeah, that's one of the facts. Because he was in the car that basically caused the Mercedes she was in to crash.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Sounds like a loose end.
Yeah.
But,
What happened to the driver of her car?
I think he died as well.
yeah, I think all three of them died.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Pretty convenient.
Oh, that was a dumb question. That didn't occur to me.
At the time, because you, Coley and PFT, you guys were the only ones alive during that. What was the consensus on Queen Elizabeth right after that happened? Like, did people automatically push for this was like Queen Elizabeth did something?
People talked about it a little bit. Everybody was just kind of sad for a while, and then there were a lot of questions. Actually, the first thing was people got really mad at the British press
Right.
Yeah.
for the way that they conducted themselves during the entire situation, and they kind of realized in that moment, it's like, wait, not only were you being dickheads in her final moments, but you've also been dickheads to her for her entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And so people were just mad about that. And then after things simmered down for a little bit, then you had the theories coming out.
So, turns out there was a MI6 officer, Richard Tomlinson, who claimed that the way Diana died was mirrored plans he saw in 1992 for the assassination of the president of Serbia at that time, who was someone that they wanted dead because of what he was doing in the Balkans, and that it was using a strobe light to blind the chauffeur in a tunnel, then hitting them with another car was the perfect way to cause a serious 360 flip accident.
Mm-hmm.
And he claimed that that was evidence that it was done by MI6.
I feel like if you're in a limo, was she in a limo or was it like a town car?
I think it was a town car.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, if you get into an accident in a limo, you're kind of fucked, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not even pretending to be safe in that thing.
Yeah, he's been arrested, this guy.
The MI6 guy?
Yeah.
For
Interesting.
what? Knowing
Weird.
too much?
Breaching of the Official Secrets Act of 1989.
Do they admit they're a secret?
Whistleblower.
Huh. So Henry Paul was the driver of the Mercedes-Benz W140. He was in the pay of the National Security Service. But they don't know the name of the country of the security service. Was it Britain, France, United States? What? Did you know who this guy worked with? Evidence purported to support this arises from money in his possession at the time of his death and his personal wealth. These allegations are covered in Chapter 4 of Operation Paget, which was the British Metropolitan Police inquiry to investigate conspiracy theories about the death of Diana, Prince of Wales. This was in 2004. Mohammed Al Fayed was an Egyptian-born businessman.
That was Dodi.
That's the grandfather.
Dodi is the boyfriend.
Yeah, so Muhammad Al Fayed, I think that's father.
I think that's Dodi's real name.
Dodi.
No, I read that was his dad.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Dodi's father was this guy. He claims that Henry Paul was working with MI6. Dude, I mean, honestly, so there's a blood test which indicated Paul had been drinking before he took control of the car. Paul was drunk. That was what they claimed.
I tend to believe that there's something going on here.
Yeah.
That's my personal
Paul
vibe
was
from
taking
it.
antidepressants.
I mean, the letter ahead of time, it's kind of on her for getting in the car again.
She saw things happening.
She spelled it out like, hey, they're going to try and kill me in a car.
Uh-huh.
And then she got in a car.
Would you just be bike? You would just bike all the time?
I assume at that level, they don't let you drive yourself. So I guess.
I would just get a sick, like, giant Silverado. Just trick it out. Just roll coal on them if they try to pull up on you. Have a Calvin decal sticker on the back, taking a leak all over the Queen.
I definitely believe the driver was drunk,
Okay.
but now Dodie. Dodie also died.
Yeah, I think they all did.
Oh, so the boyfriend was in the car?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Do you remember? Have you ever seen the John Mulaney stand up where his dad accuses him of being there when he was 12?
Oh, his dad accuses.
John Mulaney's dad accuses him of killing Princess Di when he was 12.
What?
It was the whole
Yeah,
joke.
you can go watch it later.
Okay. I think getting rid of both of them would be a perfect plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost one of those things where it's like there's too many coincidences.
Yeah, the letter is really the key point of evidence for me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't write that letter if you're just like speculating.
Oh yeah, being like,
No.
someone's trying to kill me.
Yeah. Although I want to say for the record, if I die, it's because Billy did it. Accidentally, though. I think Billy is the biggest liability in terms of my
Your
longevity.
existence?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Not through like anything intentional. I'm not saying that you would murder me unless we're in a wood situation. But I
Or
do
a plane
think,
crash.
yeah, Billy accidentally killing me has got to be
cut
way
off
up there.
one of your legs. You both eat it.
Why not your leg?
We need my leg.
It's bullshit. My leg's better than your legs. So there's also the royal prerogative in the United Kingdom, which, do you guys know what that is?
Mm-mm.
So although it is like mostly ceremonial that they have a royal family, the royal family, the monarch, does have their own initiative, so they can overrule acts of parliament on their own. Now they like never do this, but technically the Queen could have final say on something if she wanted to. They deal with foreign affairs, defense, national security. They have constitutional weight in these and other manners, but limited freedom to act because the exercise of the prerogative is in the hands of the prime minister and other ministers or other government officials. So the prime minister could ask the king or queen to step in. It's like the ultimate veto that could be brought in. Now, I don't know the last time it's actually been used, but it's cool to just have that on the books to be like, hey, at the end of the day, you can just blame. It's basically saying like, cover your ass. You can just blame the queen for not overriding anything bad that we do. So yeah, anybody else want to discuss any topics related to the royal family?
I was just gonna say, the last time the royal prerogative was used was 1976.
Oh, what was that for?
It has been used 13 times to refuse passports.
Interesting.
Huh. Who are they refusing passports to?
That's an awesome level of pettiness.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep your enemies out. That's what Chris Christie tried to do. Shutting down the bridge. People forget that. Wonder what he's up to these days.
I saw him getting interviewed. I don't know if it was recent or not, but I saw a video of him. He was like in the like club at the Rangers game, and this guy was just asking him like, hot dogs or hamburgers, and he was like, oh man, like it was very stupid.
It's funny you mentioned that because I did see Chris Christie one time at a Rangers game, and he was just like standing up in the lower level, walking from aisle to aisle, taking pictures of people. He never sat down, never watched any of the game. He was just getting his face out there, which reminds me of his maybe most noteworthy sporting event appearance. He was at the Final Four, I think, when he had two separate packs of M&Ms, and he was emptying the smaller pack of M&Ms into the bigger pack of M&Ms.
As one does.
Is that a thing?
Oh no, it's just, I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, sure. I still don't know to this day what he was doing there. Well, I actually need to come up with like a full power ranking of Chris Christie's sporting event appearances because we'll always have the softball pants.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking
that's what
about
I thought
first.
you were gonna say.
I forgot about the M&Ms. That you talk about viral.
Yeah.
People couldn't get over him doing the M&M trick. That has not been replicated since. That was a one-of-one move.
But the baseball pants are an all-time look. If you're going to wear baseball pants, at least wear underwear. That's like, that's step one in putting on baseball pants is make sure you have underwear on.
Not Christy.
Not Christy, just hanging dong for the world to see.
I could see like like you ask him about abortion, he's got an immediate answer. You ask him hot dogs, hamburgers, he's like, how much time do we got? Like, we've got to break this down.
There are many valid arguments on both sides, and I'd be doing it a disservice if I didn't dive into the specifics and get back to you on that. Consult with experts. He did treat New Jersey like he was the king. He was the monarch of New Jersey for a while. You remember when the beaches shut down and then he took his family out there?
Is he still in office?
No. He was.
You talk. Big T says it a lot about Hillary, and it's true. But you talk about someone who thought they were going to waltz into the presidency. Christie thought it was like he was born into that position.
And then so he decided,
and De Blasio thought they were going to be facing off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris Christie thought that he was going to become president. Then when it became apparent that he wasn't, he was the first person to bow out of the race and then endorse Donald Trump because he thought that he was going to become the vice president. And then Donald Trump just cut his nuts off. And he just had to hang around for years. And then when he got COVID at one of Trump's events, nobody checked on him because Trump didn't care whether or not he lived or died. So here Christie was in the hospital dying because he got COVID at a Trump White House ceremony, being like, he's going to call. He's definitely going to call to check in on me.
Trump's calling the hospital, like, get all the Regeneron out of that hospital. Like, he doesn't get the good stuff.
He calls in a tactical nuclear strike on the hospital just to make sure, finish them off.
He's like, now get all the normal people, get them out. I don't want them dead. I just want one guy.
Oh man, Chris Christie. He definitely thought that he was gonna become president one day. And I think Christie pulled the rare feat of having like a 10% approval rating. Like nobody liked him. De Blasio was kind of the same type of guy, where he just united every coalition behind him to stand up against Chris Christie.
I mean, if it weren't like that, might be the best hurricane in United States history, because that's really when it turned for him, Sandy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I feel like he was kind of. I don't know what his approval rating was at the time. I don't think it was ever like 90 or anything crazy like that. But he had more positive PR at that point. And then he handled that hurricane so poorly, everyone was like, you know what? Fuck this fat piece of shit.
So he, in 2017, he had an approval rating of 15% and a disapproval rating. This is actually more shocking than the disapproval rating of 81%. That's crazy. So that's only 6% of people. 4% of people that fell into the like somewhat disapprove or like
right.
I'm not unsure. Everybody hated this guy. That's
People
crazy.
were very sure one way or the other. They were sure.
And that's the lowest approval rating of any governor in any state in more than 20 years. What a king.
Tough scene.
What a legend. Hope he's okay now. Hope he's made a full recovery.
I was looking up to see if I could find a De Blasio approval rating, and just seeing pictures of this guy, I forgot how much I hated him. Still hate him, but now at least he's not like in the public eye.
You remember when he wore the Brooklyn Nets jersey with no undershirt? Him and Christie have a lot in common when it comes to wearing undergarments.
Now, what do you think's worse, that move with the jersey or the Mitster going full like collared shirt under a Utah Jazz jersey?
That's like an old white guy politician thing to do, though.
I think that plays for Mitt. Like everything about Mitt Romney screams to me, this is a guy that has a Brooks Brothers shirt on underneath his uniform. That is right in line with what I think Mitt Romney would do. With de Blasio, it's like de Blasio should have worn the collared shirt underneath. Instead, he just went straight up raw dog with it. Now, Jesse Ventura, I think that you can probably put on the like official team do-rag as well if you're the body.
He's got the helmet on.
Yeah, go full uniform, full kit. Wear the shorts, you name it.
I'll just never forget when this city was going to hell in a handbasket at the hands of Bill de Blasio, and he spent an entire press conference talking about Trae Young drawing fouls and how he needed to quit crying because we don't do that in New York City. God, I hate it.
Oh,
I
de Blasio's approval rating was 37%.
That's shockingly high.
How does let's be realistic here. How the hell does someone like that get elected?
Who?
You want the real answer?
Which person?
Like De Blasio.
You mean Wilhelm?
Yeah, Wilhelm. I think his name was yeah.
I don't know that much about the man's entire history, but I think back in the day he was a like community organizer. I think that he was like into workers' rights and stuff. Civil rights guy, and then he just could not govern.
Want people to connect the dots.
How do you think he got into office, Billy?
I don't know.
All right, well, Billy, we'll look into that. Billy, you have to tell us
how he got elected.
Yeah, that's your assignment for nanodosing.
I think not enough. I think a lot of people don't live in the city and have their mailing address in the city.
Interesting.
So the people who actually live in the city.
Voter fraud.
Count the votes, Billy.
No, I'm saying like realistically, how many of us live in New York City where our residency is in New York City and we can vote in New York City?
I do.
Do you have a New York City license?
You don't need one. You live here.
I live here.
You can vote if you just live here?
Yeah, if you're a resident.
But are you a resident? I feel like
you don't have to have a driver's license here to be a resident, here.
Did you file your taxes in New York City?
Yeah. I told the story on the show. I got a $2,200 federal refund. I had to pay New York City and New York State $1,900 of it.
Wow.
Damn.
Mine was actually the opposite this year. I had to pay the feds a lot, but then the state of New York owed me a lot of money.
Right.
So came out on top.
They should let people who work in the city vote.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because your taxes, if you live in New Jersey.
I don't agree with that at all.
So you get to vote twice?
Probably just like a little voting tax.
I'm sure a lot of people running would agree with you.
Yeah, let's do it. Billy just rebranded the poll tax.
little voting tax so you can vote in New York City. No, I'm talking.
All right, so male landowners in New York should get a second vote.
Yeah.
Nope, not people who rent.
Also, you should have to prove that you can read as well. All right, so you want to do voicemails?
Sure.
Yep.
You want to dip our toes into the voicemails?
Mm-hmm.
Someone's smoking weed in this office right now.
I know.
I can smell it.
There's the big Epstein and Prince Andrew.
Oh yeah,
conspiracy.
There's that one. So Prince Andrew.
We did Epstein.
We talked about Prince Andrew. He's the one that had made several trips to Epstein's Island.
He's not getting off like clean.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Prince Andrew's fucked.
Yeah, like the last time when we talked to Truanon, they didn't know what was going to happen with Prince Andrew.
Mummy's not paying his legal bills.
Mummy is not looking out for Prince Andrew.
I like the English accent, Mad Dog. Is that your best accent?
In terms of like other accents I could do?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so read the first voicemail in your British accent.
Okay. well, they're them talking.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not.
I got a really good swamp. I have a really good swamp people imitation.
All right, let's hear it, Billy.
I'll do it later.
No, you can't.
I know, but like
how that works.
I can't. I just gotta get into it.
Okay.
Will you answer the first voicemail?
Because it's the only other people in popular culture who sound like Coach O.
All right, got it. So you're gonna answer this question from Mad Dog and the Swamp.
Okay,
people.
so you're gonna answer this question. I think mine's pretty good, actually.
That is really good.
Yeah.
One.
Thanks.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Chris from Cincinnati. On my way to get some Skyline chili for lunch. PFT knows I'm talking about it.
Go.
My question for you all would be, if you could take one fantasy world, a la like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and make it a reality, which one would y'all choose and why? Thanks again, guys. Love the pod. Stay handsome, stay beautiful. Hope y'all have a great one. Bye.
Dog, when I go down to Gator Dome, you know, the price of Gators will go off later, you know. Dog on my daddy.
The price of Gator's been going up, is what I got from that. Go buy an inflated my Gator price.
God, get shotgun.
Can't get a Gator for
Let's
less
get
than
we got a Gator on the
$50.
line. You gonna get on the line? We got big gator.
Went down to Markle, try to get a gator. Try to get a gator for reasonable price. Feed my family when Joe Biden just get gas prices out the roof.
Too much gator.
My gator.
Too much gator.
3 times
gotta
much
go
I used to pay.
Two got to put the lines out. You got 3 gators on the line. Get shotgun.
I just watched Coley throughout that entire thing, who did not crack a smile once.
My dogs are barking. I was furious at them. It had nothing to do with you two fine gentlemen's hottest impersonation of 2009.
Dude, Swamp People is a goat show.
What fantasy world would you make real? I think I would like the world to be like what Billy's brain is like. I think that fantasy world would be pretty solid. Skyrim, just giant mythical beasts running around, vampires and shit.
That's Skyrim, bro.
It's Skyrim. Swag Kelly's the NFL MVP. Sam Ellinger is Super Bowl champion. I would like to live in that world. Billy's Fantasyland sounds like a lot of fun, actually. No, my answer is Avatar, and I would not invite Arian.
I was gonna say I'll answer for Arian. Avatar.
Anybody else?
Mine was fairly similar to yours. It's just what Democrats think like the world is.
Okay. So you'd like to live, you think that Democrats have a good picture of what the world should be like?
Well, no, I think they have a terrible picture of what the world should be like and could be like. But in their minds, they have this idea that like if everything worked like it worked in their brain, where there are no limitations on anything, sure, everything would be awesome.
What would that world look like? Because I think about that a lot.
Imagine all the people. Imagine no possessions. It's easy if you try.
Huh.
Imagine Big T if there was no religion. There was
that sounds
there
bad.
was no hell, no hell below us.
Got it.
And above us, only sky.
You know what you should do? This sounds like a pretty lyrical, like you should get some celebrities that you know, and you should have them like make a video, each saying like different, parts of that. I think it'd go pretty crazy.
Nothing to live or die for?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I think the Avatar world would be pretty sick to live in.
The problem with this question is most of these involve like a lot of superfluous killing.
Yeah, well, so does life.
Sure.
Is there a lot of killing in like Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they persecuted the Mudbloods.
I've never seen or read Harry Potter.
Yeah, there was a genocide going on.
Oh.
His parents were murdered immediately.
Oh, right. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, like fantasy. Like I would want to live in like a TV show maybe, but I don't know like if that would count as like a fantasy. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Billy, what's your pick?
Skyrim.
Oh, right.
I'd be with a 2-handed battle axe, running around.
Can I do like Grand Theft Auto?
I mean, we live in
Miami.
Grand Theft Auto.
No, we don't.
I feel like Grand Theft Auto is 100% like just normal world.
No, but I get to steal cars.
Well, you could do that if you
You
wanted
can
to.
steal cars.
But yeah, I can't drive them like I can in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, but I was in LA
And you kept saying it's just like Grand Theft Auto.
because it is, and I was in a souped up Chevy Silverado that had like camo on it, so like it looked like a car I'd make in Los Santos Customs. I was like a mental health break away from getting 5 stars.
I also just learned what an NPC means this weekend. Speaking of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, there's tons in LA.
Is that like a real thing that people believe is real?
Oh, well, like it's kind of like a schizo brain.
But like, are people actually like, oh yeah, that's an NPC?
It's just like random people that you don't know. Like it's part of like the
on
concept.
planes or whatever.
Yeah, that like these people can't exist. Like these people can't have a type of conscience that
I've
I
thought
have.
that forever.
Yeah, so you NPC.
Like I think that people disappear when I'm not looking at them.
Yeah, like you can't imagine what they're doing at that moment.
It's like Quigs.
Really?
Quigs thinks that. Yeah, we had him on when we did the episode about living in a simulation.
Yeah.
Quigs thinks that way.
Yeah.
Like he can't imagine that after he goes home from work, that everybody else that he knows at the office, they
goes
also
home.
go to their own home and
Is that
have their own nights.
Is that narcissistic of me to think?
There's a little bit of narcissism that goes into that, but I don't think it's like.
It's just there's so many realities to think about.
Yeah. Actually, I have a new answer for the fantasy world I would want to live in. Akon City. Coley, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Akon City. So Akon, the singer and entrepreneur, he's been planning out this big project over in Senegal where he makes his entire own society that's got his own currency. It's going to have like casinos, water parks, the whole 9 yards. And he's planning this out. Now, Akon, you might say that sounds like a little bit insane. Akon has actually been a really, really good business person over his career.
I think it depends who you ask.
That's true. That's true. So I'm just saying, doubt Akon at your own peril. So Coley, what are your thoughts on Akon City? Because phase 1 is expected to be completed as early as next year.
Yeah, I mean, Akon's an extremely successful individual. I think we've thrown this term out a lot on this show, and when I say we, I mean Billy. He is teetering on supervillain. Like he's one Akon City away from becoming the actual. I'm pretty sure like most of the money he's accrued, and this is just from seeing stuff on Twitter, so it could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's just like sold a lot of like land and rights in Africa to like Chinese billionaires. And like people have their lives have been extremely affected because like I'm pretty sure he's a shady individual when it comes to what he's doing over there.
Well, he's also the ringtone king of the world. He's made a shitload of money off ringtones. That's like where he got
at the perfect time.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm reading an article right now. Senegalese locals left disillusioned by lack of progress on Akon City. So yeah, they were supposed to be done with phase 1 next year. That looks like it's a little bit behind schedule right now. But I'm waiting. I'm waiting till all the facts come out.
It's
about
definitely
Akon City.
debt recourse.
Okay.
Land grab by a certain People's Republic.
There you go, Billy. All right, we got another voicemail.
Yep.
What's up, guys? And Mad Dog, this is Tanner from DC. Not exactly sure how to pose this hypothetical, but thinking about it for a while. So I'll phrase it like this. What if instead of pollution affecting the environment, what if pollution affected gravity? So the more pollution in the world would result in the degradation of gravity. So over time, we would stick to the ground less. I guess the question is, do you think society would react more proactively, or would we just make heavier shoes and shit? I don't know. Would love to hear you guys chat this through. Love the pod. See you guys.
I would pollute more intentionally.
To decrease the effects?
To live in like space.
And then I'd buy courtside tickets to NBA games because the action would be that much better. It'd turn into slam ball.
30-foot hoops.
Yeah, I mean, if it was the reverse, that the gravity was weighing down more on us, and like every day would be harder because it's like we feel the gravitational pull more.
Yeah, that's what it should be. Actually,
yeah. The going up part, people are gonna have too much fun, like feeling like jumping higher, running fast.
Yeah, but don't you
run fast?
No.
You don't run fast.
I think you would run slower.
Yeah, because you'd be like on the moon.
But don't you think like it would make your day-to-day harder? Or do you think, again, like he's saying, we would just adjust, like we would make heavier shoes and heavier appliances and things?
Depends on how, because it'd be much more noticeable in people's everyday lives. So like once people realize that stuff is getting lighter, and then I think people are gonna start acting.
Listen, from what we've seen these last 2 years, people do not react to things they cannot see. People don't react to things they do see, such as pollution. So I can't imagine people would care any differently than they do currently.
Well, you could test it out by going up to Canada and going to the Hudson Bay, because there's a place in Canada that has less gravity than the rest of the Earth, and that's in the Hudson Bay. This is actually true.
Wait, this sounds like something I should.
Yeah, you should know this, Billy. I'm shocked that you don't. But because there was a giant glacier that existed in Canada like millions of years ago, it pressed all the land down so far that there's less mass up there. And so you actually weigh less because mass is what creates gravity in the first place. It's true.
What?
Yeah.
Gravity's a
strange
horrifying
reason why
concept.
you'll always weigh less in Canada.
Yeah, it is a horrifying thought, Coley. And actually, Arian is the only person that's begun to explain to me what gravity is, like what causes gravity. To me, it's still kind of like a mystery thing where people just say it's there, so I believe them. There's no reason to doubt them.
If it just stops tomorrow, like we just woke up on our ceilings, you talk about like in a Jamiroquai music video, that's how we had to walk downstairs. Like I don't like thinking about gravity.
Chaos.
Well, it's
yeah, for people that are not cool with heights like me and you. That would be
Even
an issue.
just like, yeah, that's what's keeping us on the planet, and I'm thankful for it.
Mhm.
But
Shout
it's-
out gravity.
laws of
Yeah.
attraction.
Well, yeah, well, that's what gravity is. It's
Yeah.
things are attracted to
Bigger
larger
things.
things.
So that's why you need to get as swole as you can
Good point.
to find a mate.
that's an excellent point, Billy.
Laws of attraction.
We should do an episode, by the way, on what would happen if the internet shut down.
Yeah.
And like walk away through that, like an entire episode. I think we talked about it last week a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But like do an entire episode on, I think would be pretty good.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
What's up, Macrodosing crew? This is Grant from Detroit, South Midwest. Got a hypothetical for y'all. Let's say that you're given the power to remove 1 cubic foot of matter from the planet, so just a 1 by 1 by 1 foot box. What would you remove to cause the most possible chaos? And let's just say, for the sake of this question, that this act can't be traced back to you. People would probably see it as an act of God, or probably definitely the devil. Yeah, interested to hear what you guys have to say. Stay gorgeous. Have a great day.
I know exactly what I would.
The Declaration of Independence.
There's too many copies.
No, that would be a sick plot to
But if we
National
lost the
Treasure 3.
original, it'd be a pretty big deal.
Yeah. To cause the most chaos, unfortunately, I'd remove a piece of rock from the continental plate underneath Yellowstone that would cause that age-old gigantic volcano to go off. We're looking for the biggest bang for your buck. That thing's going to put us into volcanic ice age and just destroy the whole world.
So we could have chosen something of like you did, historic value that would have like
Mhm.
caused
we're
a
trying-
ruckus. Billy wants to kill everyone.
You
But-
destroy the entire
Well,
planet.
wasn't that the point? The most chaos? Yeah.
I mean,
I think it was just like whatever, however you wanted to take
no,
it.
we're trying to find the most chaos.
You did destroy the
I don't-
planet, though, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I don't
that's
know.
I mean
If
that's
no
chaos.
one exists, is there such thing as chaos?
True. It's like if
well,
a,
the chaos running up to no one existing is going to be pretty chaotic.
I would remove the box that contains all of LeBron James's championship rings. And then you could be like, yeah, he's pretty good, but no rings. And then he wouldn't have anything to say to you. I don't know. I don't know what I'd actually remove.
a 1 by 1 by 1 box is hard to like fit some.
Maybe somebody's heart. Dan Snyder's heart.
Well, that's already missing.
Good point. Putin's head.
Putin's head.
Oh,
That would really wouldn't cause chaos, though.
no.
would it? I feel like it would though.
I don't think so.
There
I
would
think-
be a power vacuum in Russia.
Yeah, that's what people don't think about that much when it's
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they're like advocating for Putin to be assassinated. Who's going to be the guy that takes over for Putin?
Like, is it gonna be worse?
He might be worse.
Yeah, but what if they scale back from Ukraine, but then there's a gigantic civil war in Russia
Yeah.
with even more casualties?
Exactly.
That'd be pretty freaking wild.
Yeah. I don't know, Coley, what would you remove?
I definitely misunderstood the question at first. I thought he was saying like you could remove something, but it had to be 1 by 1. So I was thinking like Antarctica. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a similar to Billy, like a box underneath something.
I think Billy actually might be right. But I don't know if a 1 by 1 by 1
Is enough?
would be enough.
Well, like what I'm thinking is that like there definitely is, and it would probably be a slow burn, but like finding out where the lava flows are and where it would melt into the continental shelf, and just find like I'd have to like really do some geology to figure out
Mhm.
where the exact spot would be, because
Mhm.
it might be just like a little pinpoint where it gets some lava to leak in somewhere, destroy like burn up the whole crust,
Mhm.
crust, and then just light that sucker off in like 100 years.
Now, if I was a horny man, I would say I would put all of Miley Cyrus's underwear in there and then but I'm not, so I'm not going to say that.
If you were though, Bonk.
If I was, yeah.
I don't think there even is a
Yeah,
one
you're right.
by
She,
one.
she probably doesn't wear.
Where is that box?
No, I'm saying like that's what I would put in the box.
No, whatever you're getting rid of has to fit in this box.
But I'm not saying that.
But he's not saying
I'm
that.
thinking of it like a Minecraft box.
Yeah,
like
same.
it's just like a block, take it out.
So it has to be in one physical location.
Yeah.
Yeah, Declaration of Independence would be pretty nuts because then they'd have to make another national treasure.
What about to cause the most chaos? I'm making assumptions here, but like the book that the president of the United States, like with the nuclear codes and all of the alien secrets and all of that, like his day one shit that he gets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's assume that's in a binder.
But I don't think you get the box. You get the box?
No, I'm just saying
Just
if you
gets
got
removed.
rid of it, I think
just
that would
gets
cause a lot of
disappears.
implications.
Or just remove the nuclear football. The one that gets carried around, the briefcase that gets carried around that has the launch codes and authorization.
That's what I'm saying.
Take
yeah.
that away, and then actually, if every other country could still start a nuclear war, then that probably wouldn't be a great thing to remove.
No, but it would be chaos.
It would be chaos. What about you, Big T?
I've been trying to think this whole time. My initial thought was just so I thought of it as Billy, like a one by one block that's just like there's nothingness now. Like not like a void of nothingness. Like you can't even conceptualize what that would be. So I would want to put it like somewhere in the woods, like a very not well traveled place, and just for like one dude to stumble across it, and then he'd go back and tell people like, y'all aren't gonna believe this shit. I found just like this. It sounds kind of like I think I'm creating Mormonism right now. The guy just went into the woods. He found these magical golden tablets. He went back and told. So like this is just like somebody just finds this one by one block of a void, and then I feel like that would create some drama.
That would create a lot of drama. Then that person would maybe turn it into a tourist destination, like come see the amazing missing block of nothingness.
It would probably be a vacuum. If you think about it.
Or like a black hole.
It would be a vacuum, so everything's gone, then it collapses in on itself.
But in my head, you put something in the box and the box goes away.
The box, everything inside that box,
inside the box
has now disappeared.
Like me and PFT are on one wavelength, and you two are on another.
Yeah.
I get it though. I understand the concept behind what Big T's saying. Like
me
just
too.
a box of empty space.
Could you do that? Is there something in like Israel Palestine where if you placed it and it created that vacuum, something very important was removed that would cause like international chaos between the three big religions?
I mean,
Shroud of Turin.
No, dude. If you
Dead Sea Scrolls.
Not in Israel, but if you got rid of the meteorite in Mecca, that would piss a shit ton of people off.
Right, that's what I'm trying to think.
It's way
like,
bigger than 1 foot, though.
It is bigger. It's
I know,
much
but
bigger.
even if you damaged it.
Yep, that would.
Yeah, you're right.
That would piss a lot of people off.
Especially
one of the corners.
Especially because people would view that as like an act of some higher power.
Yeah.
You know.
Then what? And chaos.
Yeah.
But what kind of chaos? Like, would that just cause like a religious breakdown?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably a war.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, it's the most important holy site. Probably in the world. Yeah.
In that in the Vatican, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, most
Mecca is probably.
Mecca, I feel like is
because there are more Muslims than Catholics.
Yeah, it's Mecca by a lot.
Mecca is big.
Yeah.
Mecca and 4.
Dude, Mecca. They don't even let non-Muslims into Mecca.
No. Mm-hmm.
But sneaky, it is very easy to convert to Islam.
You should do that for an episode.
And then go into Mecca, and then come out, and then change back.
Mm-hmm. What if you removed like the 18th hole at the U.S. Open on that Sunday? Like you took the hole out, and then they were golfing, and the golfers are like, "Wait, like you couldn't crown a champion? That would be chaos."
Like at Augusta.
Yeah, the 18th at Augusta.
Would you be removing the hole or creating another hole?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Also, they do move the holes. They do put them in and take them out.
Damn, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. All right, so I think we've got a lot of good ideas about what we'd get off the face of the earth here. All right. Well, I think that does it for today's show. Unless there's anything else you guys want to get into.
Oh, I put together the dudes list Discord channel, and I sent it out this morning, and I have to go check on it. I only have Discord on my computer at home, and turns out it's gone wild.
In a good way?
I think so.
Like it's a self-sustaining ecosystem?
A lot of dudes are saying that they're finding solutions to stuff that they need help.
I love it, Billy. I love it. Keep us posted on the dude Discord.
But I think they may have separated several factions.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have to moderate the content. And
say what they formed.
Well, a certain, I don't want to say extremist group, has formed a militia, which is a militia.
Should be called Bill's Mafia. It's right there.
But militia is more original.
Uh-huh.
So I got to go deal with this militia when I get home.
Military?
The militia is fighting the military.
All right, so is the militia on your side, or
I don't know. I haven't even looked in this thing yet. I've been here all day.
If they're using your name, I would assume that they're on your side.
I might go back to a dumpster fire or an absolute
a thriving
metropolis.
Yeah.
You know that meme where it's like if
society.
Yeah, society. If blank would have worked, that's if the militia was our real militia.
I think that is Akon City. I think that's what that meme is a picture of. All right, Billy, keep us posted on the militia. And also, you have another assignment for Wednesday. Do you remember what that was?
Figure out how Bill de Blasio got elected.
Yep. All right, so that'll be the Nano-Dosing episode that'll come out on Thursday.
Fraud.
Welcome back to Macrodosing. We love having you guys here, and I'm glad that we squashed the beef between Billy and Big T.
Mm-hmm.
Very glad about
Me
that.
too.
All right, love you guys.